And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fed Reacts. Today we're going to be covering the Trump assassination, some updates on it, guys. Let's get into it.
I'm a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, okay, guys? HSI.
This is what Fed Reacts covers.
Defender Jeffrey Williams, an associate of YSL, did commit the felony. So here's what 6ix9ine actually got. Racketeer conspiracy. This attack shifted the whole U.S. government. This guy got arrested for espionage, okay? Trading secrets with the Russians. John Wayne Gacy, a.k.a. the Killer Clown, okay? One of the most prolific serial killers of all time, killed 33 people. Zodiac Killer is a pseudonym of an unidentified serial killer who operated in Northern California. All these serial killers, guys, they really get off on getting attention from the media. Many years, Jeffrey Epstein sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his home. It was OJ working together to get Nicole killed. We're gonna go over his past, the gang ties, so that this all makes sense.
All right, we're back. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fed Reacts, man. Today we're going to be covering the Trump assassination. Oh, sorry. Let me fix the video here. We're going to be covering the Trump assassination and obviously some updates with it. Some stuff has developed. I was going to react to it earlier this week, but I said, you know what, let's go ahead and do it on Sunday because that would make the most sense so I don't catch you guys off guard. But I will be doing more things where I like kind of just pop up and do streams for you guys and let you guys know what's going on. Audio is low, you said? Okay, I'm going to let me bring the mic a little bit closer. Give me one sec, guys. You're saying audio is low. Okay, boom. That should fix that. Okay. Is that better? Is audio good now? I brought the mic a bit closer to myself. Give me ones in the chat if the audio is good now. Give me ones in the chat if it's audio is better now. All right, cool. Okay. Awesome. Okay. It's good now. Yeah, I brought the mic a little bit closer, guys. So, okay, quick little updates. Yeah. So I had a Twitter space, guys, earlier today. I was up for a while, man. It went for like 10 hours long or whatever. I was in and out of it for some of it, but what I was basically doing was I was setting up debates. As you guys know, I like to moderate debates, right? We were moderating some very touchy subjects on Israel and some other things like that, which, you know, obviously if we had these discussions on YouTube, it would get canceled. So, guys, I'm really active on X. Like, Twitter right now is like my main platform. Like, I'm on there all the time. I'm tweeting multiple times a day on different types of things, whether it's pop culture, what's going on in crime, what's going on with 304s, the news, etc., geopolitical stuff. You know, I covered, okay, well, I might as well just go into this. So, yeah, I am going to be joining Vitaly. I know he's going to be here in Miami soon. He actually messaged me yesterday. But yeah, I'll be with Vitaly when he's here in Miami, guys, so don't worry. It's going to be a good time. I just got to figure out timing and everything else like that of when I'm going to go. But I know he's going to be here this week sometime, so I'll probably do 1 or 2 episodes with him. So, yep. And then Laura Loomer versus Sulaiman. Laura Loomer is really tied up right now, guys, with the Trump campaign. She's pretty much, you know, at all of his rallies, so she's really focusing on that. And then I think Sulaiman is, you know, has other stuff going on as well. So maybe one day we'll set it up, but right now it doesn't look like it's, at least not until the election. Definitely won't be able to. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But yeah, I'm really active on X, guys. Obviously, there's been some crazy news that happened in the past week, and it's kind of interesting how like that hasn't really been too reported on the mainstream news. But, guys, we're really close to World War III. Like, I don't know why Fox isn't covering this or CNN isn't covering it more. But to make things simple for you, roughly, 3 days ago, yeah, on or about July 31st, what ended up happening was there was a strike that killed a guy named Ismail Haniyeh, right? And this guy is the chief negotiator for the political wing of Hamas, right? And he got killed in Tehran, Iran, the capital of Iran. On that same day, there was another strike in Beirut, Lebanon, that killed a high-ranking member of Hezbollah, okay? And there was also a strike that killed an Iraqi commando on the same day. So, and I think the United States did that one. Why do I say all this? I say all this because right after, right, Iran put out a statement that they're going to, you know, retaliate, et cetera. And if you guys remember back in April, there was a retaliation by Iran. But it was just a few missiles here and there. You know, they were able to strike a couple targets. You know, apparently, from what I've heard from, you know, some sources, is that 41 IDF soldiers were killed on that last strike on April. Obviously Israel didn't publicize that or anything else like that. But boots on the ground there pretty much have said that, hey, look, roughly 40 IDF soldiers were killed during those strikes, right? And obviously Israel doesn't want to put that out there, which understandably so from a geopolitical sense. You wanted to make it look like, hey, this strike didn't do anything to us. But now, with this second situation, the second escalation, right, Iran's going to have to respond. The Supreme Leader, Khamenei, I'm probably butchering that name, a couple of days ago, he tweeted, the Zionist regime will be gone, right? And interestingly enough, he tweeted it on his Iranian Twitter page in obviously their homeland. I don't know if they speak it. They speak Farsi, right? Some of them speak Arabic, but I think the majority is Farsi. So he tweets that, right? Mind you, that tweet was from October 3rd of 2023. So what does he do? He goes back in his timeline, pulls up that tweet, and pins it to his profile, okay? Obviously, we know what happened on October 7th. So this tweet from 10/3/2023 that says the Zionist regime will be gone, he takes that tweet and pins it at the top of his profile roughly 2 days ago. According to Colonel McGregor, who I'm going to bring on the show, the United States has mobilized roughly 4,000 troops to the Middle East. And Lindsey Graham is trying to push for some type of legislation for wartime type funding. We are very close to World War III, my friends, because what's more than likely going to happen after this, and I talked with Andrew Bustamante, please feel free to check that out, guys, which he's pretty much on the money about this, because every geopolitical commentator is pretty much saying the same thing. All the people I know, etc. More than likely, there's going to be a coordinated strike from the resistance countries, Iran, Lebanon, etc., Iraq, even. There's going to be a coordinated attack back towards Israel, more than likely. I mean, we already know that Hezbollah shot like 50 rockets yesterday. So I think it's very important that people pay attention. And I talk about all this on Twitter, guys, right? I'm like kind of like a damn near a news station on X. So if you guys like that type of stuff, go check me out on there. It's UnplugFitX on Twitter. I'm way more active on there. That's my main platform now, especially since I got banned off Instagram, which we're going to go ahead and address that Instagram thing on tomorrow. For you guys, because I know you guys are probably wondering, you guys been off Instagram since March. What happened? We're going to go ahead and actually tell you guys everything that went down. We've been very quiet about it for certain reasons, but I think now it's time to come out and let you guys know what went down. So let's see here. Let me see if I got any chats, make sure I didn't miss anything. If you guys got any questions, get them in now, man. fnfsuperchat.com. Also, guys, join Cast Club, man. We're almost 7,000 strong on there. So it's going to be a good time. Someone says stop glazing China. Bro, I haven't mentioned China one time during this show. What are you talking about? See, some people are low IQ, like this Creed Carter guy. Incredible. All right. Anyway, today's episode. And Yemen. Yeah, there we go. Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, and potentially even Iraq, because they did kill a Iraqi commando, which that didn't hit the news at all either. But yeah, guys, very, very turbulent times that we're in right now, okay? Cool. So, guys, today we're going to be covering the assassination. Some new facts came out. There is a new acting director of the Secret Service. His name is Donald Rowe Jr. He went ahead up to the Senate, and he testified alongside FBI Deputy Director Paul Abbate, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and react to this testimony, okay? I got a 51-minute video here that kind of cuts it up, because it was like a 3-hour-plus testimony, but we got one here that I guess goes over the more significant portions of the testimony. As you guys know, just to give you guys a quick little recap, etc., right? Let's go back to July 13th. Oh, chat right here. Gabe Sierra goes, hey, Myron, sending my praise to Angie's loved ones in Venezuela. Discussed about the elections. Yeah, we are going to talk about the elections tomorrow, too. I'm going to have Sulaiman on. We're going to talk about the elections as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go back. July 13th, as you guys know, former President Donald Trump was shot at in Butler, Pennsylvania, okay? Roughly 8 rounds went his way. 2 people were severely injured. 1 individual killed. Trump was nicked in the ear. He turned his head almost at the perfect time while he was looking at a chart that described immigration in the United States. He hits the ground. Secret Service jumps all over him. They're able to evacuate him and get him out of there. Thank God there were no serious injuries. And it was just pretty much a flesh wound. And it looks now like he's back. He got rid of the thing off his ear, and he's fine. But it did nick the president. He did have some injuries, right? And he was bleeding. obviously, this is a monumental failure, right? I had went over a million times before how Secret Service is designated with two main missions. The first is to investigate counterfeit currency in the United States, financial crimes, etc., and also to protect the president. They have two real main mandates, right? And the director, they brought her in, but maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, and asked her a bunch of questions. They grilled her, and safe to say she didn't disclose much information. She didn't have that much information, and she resigned the next day, right? Which I think was a little weak. She just should have stood her ground and said, hey, look, I'll do another testimony later on when more facts come visible. To her defense, what I will say is that they grilled her on a lot of questions that she's not necessarily going to know. They asked her a lot of questions about the investigation, and the investigation is being run by the FBI, which is interesting here because in this testimony that we're going to be reacting to, guys, they have the Secret Service director and the director of the FBI, or in this case, the deputy director of the FBI. They have them sitting together, so they're able to almost answer questions in tandem, because what people need to understand is there's multiple investigations going on here, okay? Well, number one, we summarized the Trump assassination. Boom. Now we're into the going over the background. Now they're asking these hearings. So there is the criminal investigation being done on the shooter, right? Crooks. Then there's an internal investigation being done by the Office of Professional Responsibility and OIG, OPR, right? Which is basically OPR. Think of them as the internal affairs of the Secret Service. Okay, they're doing an investigation as well. OIG is also doing that internal investigation alongside OPR. They typically work together. The difference between OPR and OIG, because you guys are probably saying, well, what the fuck? Why are two different agencies doing the internal investigation? Well, OPR focuses more on administrative violations, guys, while the Office of Inspector General focuses more on criminal violations, okay? So, if you get a couple days on the beach, you do something stupid, you leave your gun in a bathroom or some shit like that, OIG's not going to come in and arrest you for that. However, OPR is going to go ahead, do their administrative investigation, and you're going to get maybe a week or two on the beach, right? Which is what we say, like, when you get disciplined, right? It's a saying in the law enforcement world, right? So, FBI doing a criminal investigation on Crooks, number one. Number two, internal investigation being done by the Office of Professional Responsibility / OIG, okay? Then you got these congressional hearings, right, that are being done where they're asking these questions, right? These senators and congressmen, et cetera, right? Then, on top of that, the Department of Homeland Security is bringing in another entity to investigate all the crap that's going on, okay? So, multiple investigations are being done at the same time, so therefore, you must ask the agency that's conducting that investigation questions based on what you're trying to find out, right? So if you're trying to find out information on, I want to know about Crooks, what's the deal with him, what's his background, FBI is going to have that information. They're running the investigation there. Secret Service is not, okay? If you want to know where was the security lapse, right? OPR and OIG is probably going to know that because they have the names of all the individuals that were out in the field on that day, etc. Okay? And I think it's also very important to note for you guys that the director of Secret Service, right, might not be privy and or able to disclose things that are going on from the Office of Professional Responsibility, okay? Because they're like their own agency. They're like an outside agency, okay? Because they're obviously investigating their own, so they can't be within the same chain of command. It causes issues, right? Because they have their own director, the Office of Professional Responsibility. So you're going to see some questions here that, once again, aren't for the director. And I will go ahead and we'll pause and we'll react to it, and I'll tell you guys, that was a stupid question. They should be asking this, etc. Because, like I told y'all before, give me 10 minutes, right? On Capitol Hill, and let me ask these questions. I'll get the American people all the questions they need fucking answered because I know exactly who to ask what question. All right. So yeah, give me ones in the chat if that makes sense, guys. Summary of the assassination, and then obviously the multiple investigations that are going on in this fucking gargantuan case. Give me ones in the chat if it makes sense. That we're going to start getting into reacting. Awesome. Okay. And I've been on Twitter, like, going over this. I've pretty much been like almost a pundit for this on Twitter. I've been in multiple spaces discussing this case ad nauseum because a lot of people don't understand how the federal government works from the law enforcement perspective, right? But obviously that's my forte because I've done Secret Service details before, and I know exactly how that agency works. I know exactly how the FBI works. I know exactly how DEA works. I know their strengths, their weaknesses, what they do investigate, what they don't investigate, how they operate. their funding levels, all that shit, man, because I've worked very closely with almost damn near every federal law enforcement agency. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get into the testimony here. I got a video here for you ninjas, okay, where we got Donald Rowe here. He is, like I said before, the acting director. He stepped up after Cheadle got resigned, all right? I'm going to put this at 1.25 speed, and we're going to just react to it, guys. And these are some of the key moments from the testimony, okay? And, guys, do me a favor. Like the video, okay? I see that we got 1,200 plus y'all on YouTube and another 1,200 roughly on Rumble. Do me a favor for the people that are watching this on Rumble, if you guys don't mind. Open up a tab on YouTube, like it, and let's go ahead and get get this thing pushed up in the algorithm, right? So without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure the tab isn't muted. Why isn't it playing? Give me 1 sec here, guys. I don't know why I'm having a sound issue. What the hell? Can you guys? Okay. Hold on 1 sec. Give me 1 sec, guys. Having a sound issue here for some odd reason. So annoying. God damn it. Volume. Yeah, no, it's not muted, guys. I don't know why it's acting like that. Give me 1 sec. I'll fix this. Because I definitely don't have this thing muted. No. Okay. I think I know what I got to do. Let me see here why this is acting like that. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that.
I want to.
No, that's not it. Getting a Matrix attack, you guys said? Okay. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
The men and women of the United States Secret Service on July 13th. Our special agents shielded the former president with their bodies while shots were still being fired.
Give me ones if you guys can hear that. Barely? Okay. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, so you guys can't hear that. Okay. Why the hell did that? Give me 1 sec, guys. I don't know why the hell this is. Let me try Firefox, maybe. Yeah, I don't know why it's acting like this. Never had issues before with this crap. It's pissing me off now. Give me 1 sec, guys. Apologize, man. I don't know why the hell this is acting like this. Okay, hold on. All right, can you guys can't hear this right now, right? Let me put it on screen share. You guys cannot hear that, right? Give me twos if you guys can't hear this. Or, yeah, I think you guys, this is probably a 2. No, you can't, right? Yeah, they're saying wrong source in OBS. That's weird. Why is it not fucking test? So the mic is working, but it's not coming through the roadcaster. You guys can hear the audio. All right, that's not it. I don't know why. Oh, hold on. Maybe I think I might know why. Hold on. What the fuck? Because you guys can hear this. All right, let me go back to the settings real fast. Nope, can't hear that still, right, guys? All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and restart the roadcaster because it's acting ridiculous. And I might have to call Bills. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to restart this crap. It's pissing me off. me? Chat, can y'all hear me? Give me ones if you guys can hear me. I think chat can hear me. Okay, so.
Your committees and the
Oh, can y'all hear that? Oh, wow. So I just needed to restart the roadcaster. Okay, I think they can hear me now. Let me see here.
American people have a thorough and complete understanding of what happened leading
Hold on
up
one second,
to
Bills, hold on.
and during July 13th.
Y'all can hear it? Okay. Yeah, I had to restart the roadcaster. What the fuck? All right, Bills, I'll let you go, bro. Sorry about that. All right, brother. Peace. Well, that's fucking bullshit. That's annoying. So, okay. Okay, you guys can hear both now. All right. Guys, I really apologize about that. I don't know what the hell happened. I had to restart my goddamn mixer for the shit to work. That's frustrating and annoying, but we got it fixed. Okay. All right, let's go back. We're going to go. This is his opening statement. We're going to go ahead and play. I'm going to play this at 1.25 speed. Okay. And I'll be giving you guys reactions on what's going on here. So let's enlarge it. You guys want the full screen? We'll do that. Let's go ahead and run it.
Today. A critical part of the Secret Service mission is protecting our nation's current and former government leaders. The attempted assassination of former President Donald J. Trump on Saturday, July 13th, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, was a failure on multiple levels. I join you and all Americans in condemning the horrific assault on former President Trump, Corey Comparator, James Copenhaver, and David Dutch. And I extend my deepest sympathies to the Comparator family and my sincere wishes for Mr. Copenhaver and Mr. Dutch's continued recovery. Before I begin, though, I want to commend the heroic actions of the men and women of the United States Secret Service on July 13th. Our special agents shielded the former president with their bodies while shots were still being fired, selflessly, willing to make the ultimate sacrifice without hesitation. I am extremely proud of these actions and those taken by the counter-sniper team to neutralize the threat that prevented further loss of life. And I applaud the actions of our tactical teams that responded so quickly. I would also like to express my gratitude to our federal, state, and local partners. We rely on these critical relationships, which have developed over decades of daily collaboration to secure protective events and conduct criminal investigations. As you're aware, there are multiple ongoing investigations of the attack and the security failures that occurred that day. I pledge my full support to those inquiries so the Secret Service, your committees, and the American people have a thorough and complete understanding of what happened leading up to and during July 13th. I will not wait for the results of those findings to assess where we failed that day. I have taken and will continue to take immediate steps to ensure we do not repeat those failures. Since my appointment as the acting director 1 week ago, I identified gaps in our security on July 13th and have implemented corrective actions. One of my first actions as acting director was traveling to the Butler Farm Show site to better understand how our protection failed.
All right, so that's number one right there, right? So you guys know, you can see here, one of the first things he did, which they criticized Cheadle on very badly, was that she had not been to the site, okay? He went out to the site, he learned from her mistakes, and you can see here he's trying to be a bit more transparent in his testimony. But that's the first thing he did, was went out to the site.
I went to the roof of the AGR building where the assailant fired shots, and I laid in a prone position to evaluate his line of sight. What I saw made me ashamed. As a career law enforcement officer and a 25-year veteran with the Secret Service, I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured. To prevent similar lapses from occurring in the future, I directed our personnel to ensure every event site security plan is thoroughly vetted by multiple experienced supervisors before it is implemented. It is clear to me that other protective enhancements
I told you guys that operation plan that they did last time, that's what got them in trouble, more than likely.
could have strengthened our security at the Butler event. As such, I have directed the expanded use of unmanned aerial systems at protective sites to help detect threats on roofs and other elevated threats. I've also directed resources to facilitate our protective site communications, particularly our communications with our state and local partners. In addition, I have instructed the asset request for Secret Service protective details to be approved expeditiously and have ordered the maximum use of requested personnel at protective sites to address this heightened security environment. I've heard your calls for accountability, and I take them very seriously. And given the magnitude of this failure, the Secret Service's Office of Professional Responsibility is reviewing the actions and decision-making.
All right, so this is important, right? I told you guys before that OPR was going to be involved in this case, right? And again, very important distinction, guys. Office of Professional Responsibility. You know what? I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys real fast here. right? Because a lot of people don't know about this. And this is within all law enforcement agencies, right? So Office of Professional Responsibility, right? These guys, and this is the director right here, the Assistant Director, David M. Smith. Their job, guys, is to do internal investigations, okay? So, and it's typically administrative, not criminal. So if you get involved in some bullshit or whatever it may be, you get arrested for a DUI or something like that, like while the state does their little case, OPR is going to open up a case too, because obviously you're held to a way higher standard when you're law enforcement, right? I told you guys before, I told you guys my story. I had an OPR investigation on me when I was working for HSI, which ICE OPR, right? Because ICE oversees both HSI and enforcement removal operations. And it was because these fucking guys at the club lied and said some dumb shit about me getting in a fight with a stripper when I was never inside there. But obviously, they had to go ahead and do an investigation, and I was cleared. But that's what happens with OPR. Any allegation that comes in, they have to take it seriously. They have to open a case. They bring you in and do the investigation. Takes them they have to get it completed within 6 months if it's not criminal. And that's really what happens, right? Sometimes, depending on how serious it is, they might take your gun away. They might limit your duty, etc. With me, when they brought me in for it, I didn't have a change to any of my stuff because it was bullshit. I didn't get my gun taken or any of that other stuff like that. But it was annoying to have to deal with it because obviously it's all lies. So what ends up happening is when you're the subject of an OPR investigation, and this sucks. All right, you know what? Hold on, before I even go through here. Give me ones in the chat if you guys actually want to hear this. Two is if you guys want me to just go back to the testimony. One, if you guys want to hear how OPR investigation works when you're the target. Two, if you guys want me to go ahead and just keep going here. Oh, you niggas want drama. The fuck, man? Fucking assholes. I was hoping I wouldn't have to explain this. you guys like trouble, man. God damn, bro. Okay. All right. So, all right. In every federal law enforcement agency, okay, there's going to be governing bodies that investigate internal issues, right? Let me go back here. So FBI has something called the Inspection Division. HSI has Office of Professional Responsibility. Secret Service has OPR. Most agencies call it OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility. The FBI is the only agency that calls it Inspection Division. But it's the same shit. It's, right, FBI agents that investigate their own, specifically for internal problems. With HSI, ICE OPR are HSI agents that investigate other HSI agents for internal problems, okay? So what ends up happening is a complaint will come in, right? And it'll get divvied up to either the Office of Professional Responsibility or the Office of Inspector General, okay? Office of Inspector General, guys, is criminal, all right? Corruption, you lied, you did some shit that you weren't supposed to do, and you could be criminally charged. That's OIG coming in. Office of Professional Responsibility, though they can do criminal, that's not really their mandate. Their mandate is to do administrative, okay? Now you're probably wondering, well, why is that important, Myron? The reason why it's important, guys, is because if you're the subject of a criminal investigation, your rights start to attach, okay? The right to remain silent, Fifth Amendment, all that stuff, they start to attach when it's criminal. When it's administrative, as crazy as it sounds, you have less rights, which means they can bring you in, ask you questions. You must answer the questions when they bring you on an admin situation, right? And that is something here. I think it's called Garrity rights. Let's see if I remember this correctly. Garrity rights. Garrity rights. Okay, damn, I'm good. It is the Garrity rights. All right, Garrity rights protect public employees from being compelled to incriminate themselves during investigatory interviews conducted by their employers. This protection stems from the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which declares that the government cannot compel a person to be a witness against himself. So, but, right, the thing is, guys, is that you still have to come in, right? You got to answer the questions, right? They give you Garrity warnings. So it's not necessarily Miranda warnings, but it's Garrity warnings, and you have to come. You have to participate. Now, someone in the chat asked a real good question. Can you lawyer up administratively? If you're a special agent, no, which sucks. You can go ahead and consult with them beforehand, but they won't let them in when you go talk to the actual agents that are investigating you. I know, what the fuck. But again, with Garrity rights, you have less privileges. Okay, guys? Because you have to go in, right? For public service people, right? So it's a notification of rights usually administered by federal, state, or local investigators to their employees who may be the subject of an internal investigation. A Garrity warning advises subjects of their criminal and administrative liability for any statements they make, but also advise subjects of their rights to remain silent on any issues that tend to implicate them in a crime. So when they bring you in and ask you questions, right, think of it as like more of a watered-down amendment warning, Miranda warning is what it is, the Garrity rights, right? So let me go back to the meeting. Okay, so they bring you in, right? Well, first let's go back to the OPR, OIG thing, right? So OPR, administrative, OIG, criminal. Can OPR do criminal? Yes. However, it's not their main thing. Their main thing is administrative, okay? Now, if you go in, right, this is how OPR typically has criminal cases. You go in and you answer questions, but you lie, then they could come back and charge you criminally. They say, hey, on such and such day, right, let's say you get drunk and you get in a fist fight at a bar, right? And obviously it gets reported, they bring you in on your, OPR brings you in to ask you questions. When they bring you in, they're gonna swear you in, okay? They swear you in, everything you say is true, to the best of your correct your knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Boom, now you're under oath. And they record the interview and 2 agents sit across from you. They ask you the questions. If you lie, you go in there and say, no, I wasn't even there, bro. And then they have like proof that you were there, they're probably gonna come back and arrest you now for 1001 or false statements, okay? Because you lied under oath to federal agents. So that's how they easily a lot of times do their criminal cases, is because you basically lied, now they can come back and charge you. So you have to go in there and be honest, because if you lied, that will fuck you up. Because not only will you probably get arrested for false statements, but now your credibility is tarnished. You lied in an official proceeding. You can't testify ever again. It's just going to be an L, right? So going back to what I was saying. So what happened with me, right, is I got an email. Fucking sucks every time. You get an email and they tell you, hey, you're the subject of you're the subject of an OPR investigation. You're the target, okay? And you need to report to XYZ to do your interview, right? Now, when they send you that email and tell you to show up, they've interviewed everybody already. You're the last person that they're going to talk to, right? And in my case, right, there was an allegation I got into a fight at a strip club here in Miami, which I had never been inside that night that they tried to claim, right? Me and my buddy. We were outside. I don't know what the fuck, how they even came to that conclusion, but either way, right? So I get this email, and mind you, I had known that this was going to happen because I got an altercation with them, etc. And I knew more than likely because a guy a supervisor that worked in the office that I worked in, he had been notified them, right? He had notified OPR. I knew the investigation was coming in about 6 months. The altercation happened in December, like clockwork. By May, they called me in, right? Now, what I did was, though, and anybody that's in law enforcement, you guys need to get this right here. I'm about to save some of y'all right now. Give y'all some sauce. You need to get this. They're not paying me to tell you guys this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. FLIOA, all right? Federal Law Enforcement Association, all right? This is very important. If you are a federal law enforcement officer, I don't care if you're a special agent, border patrol, whatever the fuck it may be, get these guys, okay? You pay an annual fee, and you're able to go ahead and consult with them when you have bullshit like this that goes on, right? Don't go at it alone, right? And then there's also one called Feds. I had both, right? Feds. Protection, 1811. Boom. Feds protection, right? Liability insurance, right? So this also is what I had. So I had both. So I contacted lawyers from both. I told them what went down, etc. You know, they gave me the standard thing. Hey, just don't lie. Go in there. They're going to ask you questions, etc. Do you know if it's criminal or not? At this point, I knew it was administrative, right? Because they said, I think in the email, they had told me that it was administrative, which is important, right? So I knew that it wasn't going to be anything too bad. So I go in there, right? And they swear me in, they sit me down, and they ask me questions. I tell the truth about everything, right? I wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened that day, whatever. And this is the funny part, actually. This is the funny part of the story. So, and I told them I was outside the club. I never went inside. And they're like, okay. And they showed me this they pull up this CCTV thing, right? And the agents were really professional and nice. I can't even talk shit about them, right? Because they have to do it. If a complaint comes in, they got to fucking do it. So they get this picture and they show it to me, right? And it's me and my buddy, because he has really white teeth just like me, right? And it was like kind of dark out that night. And you can see on the CCTV footage, we're like this to the fucking camera at the club. We're getting like a big ass middle finger, both of us, and we're both like cheesing like this, right? I ain't gonna lie, we were lit that night. And is this you? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. You know, but I was honest about everything, right? Because I had nothing to hide. I knew it. I was like, yo, whatever, man. Fuck this club. We hate these motherfuckers, bro. We didn't even go in there. So they go ahead and they, it was funny when they pulled that picture out. And they kind of had a laugh at it too, right? So interview's about 40 minutes or whatever. I leave. A month or two later, my assistant special agent in charge brings me in, gives me some paperwork. No action is going to be taken, right? I was cleared. Signed some paperwork. I'm good. Boom. Done. Case done. They did their investigation. Because this is what happens, guys. OPR does their investigation, then they turn it over to your management to make a final decision, okay? So they do their own independent investigation. They get their findings. Then they turn it over to your management, and then your management decides how they want to handle it, right? So basically what they found was, right, and I kind of found this out later on through the grapevine, is that all these fucking bouncers at this club tried to say that me and my buddy went inside and started trouble, which wasn't fucking true. So we were cleared immediately. But it sucks because you have to go through 6 months where you're like, oh my God, I'm probably subject of OPR, man. This fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Like, this blows. And I had a lawyer at the time too. And the club, since they're such fucking idiots, they thought my lawyer worked for Homeland. So they actually went ahead. And this is how I knew I had the investigation open on me. They sent her a preservation letter that OPR gave them for the CCTV footage. Okay? One more time. So you guys understand this. This is how dumb this club is, fucking morons. My lawyer sends them a request for all CCTV footage, right? Because I was like, yo, I'm about to sue you motherfuckers for lying on me. So she sends them a letter. These idiots send her back, thinking that she's like DHS or something like that. They send her back the OPR agent's request for their CCTV footage, because obviously they had their administrative investigation open on me and my friend at this point. So that's how I knew that there was an open case on me. That's how I found out. Because the club is so fucking dumb that they sent the wrong documents to the wrong person. So I knew who the guy was that was doing my case. I knew, I figured out where the office was, all this shit. So when they emailed me in May saying, hey, Agent Fuddle, we need you to come in, blah, 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 I already knew it was coming. So, because I had already spoke with my FLIOA lawyer, I spoke with my feds lawyer, I spoke with my lawyer that I was going to use to sue the fucking club. We had the preservation letter that OPR had sent them. So we knew what was coming, right? So I ended up getting cleared and everything else like that. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is OPR admin, OIG criminal, when OPR calls you in, you have to cooperate with the investigation. They swear you in, they ask you questions, and then by the time they interview you, you're the last person that they interview. They interview all witnesses, etc., then they bring you in as the final part. Once they finish their case, they take their findings, give it to your management, and then the special agent in charge makes the final decision if they're gonna give you any type of punishment. In my case, I got cleared because they fucking lied, and everything was all hunky-dory. So, guys, give me ones in the chat if that makes sense and you guys now understand how OIG and OPR works. Give me ones if that makes sense. And I hope you guys enjoyed that fucking story. All right. Give me ones. If you guys understand. We'll get back to the video at hand. And I don't mean to digress, but now you guys have an intimate knowledge of how OPR works. And I gave y'all some sauce on, like, liability lawyers and everything else like that. No, I didn't end up suing, guys. It wasn't worth it. I didn't end up suing. I thought about it, and I was like, man, it's going to cost a lot of money. This ain't worth it. Fuck this club. I ain't going there anyway. So that's what ended up happening. All right. Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
Of Secret Service personnel in the lead up to and on
Back to what we're saying, OPR is doing an investigation on what went down that day, obviously from an administrative standpoint.
the day of the attack. If this investigation reveals that Secret Service employees violated agency protocols, those employees will be held accountable to our disciplinary process. With respect to congressional investigations and requests for information, I instructed my staff to provide full cooperation and respond expeditiously on a continuing basis to ensure you have the information you need to conduct your critical oversight. In my testimony before you today, I will provide details on the Secret Service's advanced security planning for the Butler Farm Show site. Facts as we know them regarding the incident itself, known breakdowns in executing the security plan, and corrective actions that the agency is taking to ensure that nothing like this happens again. But I do not believe that inadequate time to plan for this event was a factor in the failure. As you saw in my written statement, I am prepared to provide an overview of the security planning leading up to and during the July 13th attack. However, I would like to point out that based on what I know right now, neither the Secret Service counter-sniper teams nor members of the former president's security detail had any knowledge that there was a man on the roof of the AGR building with a firearm. It is my understanding those persons—
All right, pay attention to that, guys. That's very important because law enforcement apparently knew about this guy for about 90 minutes, but it was never related to Secret Service that he had a gun until later on.
Personnel were not aware the assailant had a firearm until they heard gunshots. Prior to that, they were operating with the knowledge that local law enforcement was working an issue of a suspicious individual prior to the shots being fired. I regret that information was not passed to Congress and the public sooner with greater frequency. And I fear this lack of information has given rise to multiple false and dangerous conspiracy theories about what took place that day.
Yeah, and what I will say, guys, is anytime that you're not like transparent or this is such a big fuck up, it's gonna make conspiracy theories thrive and flourish.
And I want to debunk these theories. Let me address one conspiracy directly. The Secret Service counter-sniper neutralized the assailant within seconds after the assailant fired his weapon. That counter-sniper had full discretion to use deadly force to stop an attacker and did not need to seek authorization to fire.
Yeah, that's actually pretty ridiculous that people even thought that he needed authorization to shoot. Guys, as federal agents, you don't need authorization to shoot someone ever, because obviously when you're involved in a violent situation like that where it could be life or death, you have seconds to act. What the fuck do I look like? Hey, boss, is it okay if I take a shot here? Like, no, man. If they see a threat and there's obviously the potential for the officer to be hurt or someone else, imminent bodily injury, they take the fucking shot, bro. So when people said that, like, I was just like, what the fuck? Again, this is why we got so many armchair law enforcement people that think that they know what they're talking about, but they fucking don't, bro. You make the decision to shoot, no one else, because you're the one that's in a dangerous situation, all right?
I am immensely proud of the selfless dedication of our employees to the mission. Every day, across the globe, the men and women answer the call to protect our nation's leaders, and the standard is no fail for a reason. During our current high operational tempo, I want and I need to ensure that the Secret Service workforce are uplifted so they can focus on carrying out the mission. They have my full support, and I'm confident in their abilities to ensure the safety and security of the people we protect. They are worthy of trust and confidence, and they deserve your support as well as the support of the American people. Chairman Peters, Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Paul, Ranking Member Graham, and members of the committees, thank you for the opportunity to testify at this joint hearing. I will submit the remainder of my statement for the record, and I will answer your questions.
Mr. Abbate, thank you for appearing before the committee here today. You are recognized for your opening remarks.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Chairman Peters and Durbin, Ranking Members Paul and Graham, and distinguished—
All right, this is the FBI director. So this is really good that they did this. And I actually, yo, real talk, who was the first person to say this? I said this from the first testimony when they brought Cheeto in. I said they need to put the FBI and the Secret Service together in one fucking room and ask the questions, because there's going to be questions that only the FBI is going to know the answer to, and then there's going to be questions that only the Secret Service know the answer to. And it took them a while to kind of figure this out because they asked Ray a bunch of stupid-ass questions. If you guys remember the week before, they brought, I think it's Chris Ray, the director of the FBI, they brought him and asked him about a bunch of questions about Secret Service security details and how they're supposed to work. And he was like, I don't know. Yeah, because Secret Service mandate is not to do fucking protection, all right? So a lot of these like senators and Congress people are stupid and don't ask the right questions. So thank God, maybe someone heard my fucking advice. I actually did talk with a congresswoman last week on Twitter Space, and I literally suggested to her, I was like, yo, you guys got to bring in, that's the beauty of X, by the way. A lot of politicians are on there. You get to talk to them sometimes on Spaces. I literally said, I was like, hey, it might help if you guys brought in people closer to the source and or even brought people in the same room. I've been saying this shit for weeks. Now, you just need to put the FBI and the Secret Service in a room together so you guys can ask them the fucking questions, all right? So I'm glad that I don't know if they took my advice, but I'm glad they did this.
Distinguished members of the committee, it is a privilege to appear before you today to discuss the FBI's investigation of the attempted assassination of former President Trump on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. Before going further, I want to again offer my and our condolences to the victims of this heinous attack, to the family and loved ones of heroic firefighter and father.
Also, real quick, when it comes to use of force in the United States, going to give you guys some education here. Man, this stream is about to be lit. We're giving you guys sauce on fucking law enforcement liability, my stories. So, guys, as you can see here, Graham versus Connor is a huge case, okay, that establishes use of force in the United States, all right? So, what the hell? Okay. So, So Graham versus Connor. Hold on, let me just go ahead and. Just do the quick little wiki for you guys because it always gives the best summary. All right, boom. Okay, United States Supreme Court case which the court determined that an objective reasonableness standard should apply to a civilian's claim that law enforcement individuals use excessive force in the course of making an arrest, investigatory stop, or other seizure of his or her person. Okay, and then the other one, if I'm not mistaken, the other one, let me see if it's Tennessee versus Garner. I think this was also case law for use of force. It's a civil case which the Supreme Court of the United States held that the Fourth Amendment, when a law enforcement officer is pursuing a fleeing subject, the officer may not use deadly force to prevent escape unless the officer has probable cause to believe that the subject poses a significant threat of death or serious injury to the officer or others. Okay, guys, so again, these are two big cases, right, that define use of force in the United States. So this whole thing about getting authorization to shoot someone, it's bullshit. That's not how this goes. The officer has to make a split-second decision, or agent or any law enforcement officer in the United States, a lot of times has to make a split-second decision on pulling that trigger or not to save their life or others. Okay, so Graham versus Connor, Graham versus Connor, and then Tennessee versus Garner are two landmark cases that define use of force in the United States. Feel free to look those up in your guys on the side.
Corey comparator to Mr.
Give me ones in the chat if you guys are enjoying the stream and getting some education here and learning a bunch. That's what this is fucking about. Give me ones in the chat, both on Rumble and on YouTube. I'm the fucking captain. No one does better true crime shit than me, man. I'm out here like boners through gray sweatpants. Let's keep going.
Dutch to Mr. Koppenhaber, who continue to recover, and to former President Trump, who was also struck by a bullet fired from the shooter's rifle. Our thoughts and prayers are with each of them and their families and loved ones. Within minutes of the attack, the FBI field office in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, received notification of the assassination attempt and responded to the scene immediately with a surge of resources, quickly moving forward on the investigation. From the outset, the FBI has been investigating this attack as an assassination attempt and an act of domestic terrorism. Our team continues to conduct a full, thorough, and objective investigation and will continue to follow all leads and avenues of investigation to logical conclusion, leaving no stone unturned. While it's not typical to provide details of an ongoing investigation.
All right, let's look this guy's background real quick because we already know who Director Ray is. So Paul Abbate, okay, he is the Deputy Director of the FBI. What's his background here? Okay, Abbate started his Federal Bureau of Investigation career in March 1996. He was assigned to the New York City field office, where he worked in a criminal division and served as a member of the SWAT team. Okay, so this guy actually was an FBI agent before. Abbate has also led FBI field operations while deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. In 2017, after Trump's dismissal of James Comey, Abbate was the first shortlist of officials considered for the role of FBI director. In 2018, Abbate was named Associate Deputy Director of the FBI. He was succeeded by Jeffrey Salah after being promoted to Deputy Director of FBI in 2021. So he was, so he's the second in command, guys, over at the FBI. Now, why do I say this? Because the Director of the FBI, right, is, I think, Chris Wray. Boom. Yeah, this is the number one guy at the FBI right now. This is the director, okay? He was not a FBI special agent in the past. This guy was actually an attorney, if I'm not mistaken. Government service, boom. So, yeah, he was an assistant United States attorney for the Northern District of Georgia. In 2001, he moved to the Justice Department as Associate Deputy Attorney General and Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General. So, this guy, an assistant United States attorney, guys, also known as AUSA, is a federal prosecutor, is basically what he was. So he was a federal prosecutor. He was never an FBI agent. But he obviously took the oath and became FBI director by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who the Attorney General is the guy that runs the Department of Justice. So you got the Department of Justice, guys, and then underneath the Department of Justice, you got the FBI, you got the U.S. Marshal Service, you got ATF, etc. So the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer in the United States, right? He's the top guy, right, for all the law enforcement agencies, DOJ. And then each agency, ATF, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, all of them have a director, okay? So Ray is the top guy at the FBI. And then this guy that's talking is the number 2 guy, Paul Abbate. And this guy actually was an FBI agent in the past. So that's good to know, because Ray is not.
This, as we all know, is an extraordinarily tragic set of circumstances of the utmost national importance, making it essential to inform the American public and Congress what is known right now with full transparency. The investigation remains focused, of course, on determining motive, identifying any potential co-conspirators or others with knowledge of the attack, and building out a timeline of shooter Thomas Crook's actions in advance of and during the attack. Thus far, though absolutely nothing has been ruled out, the investigation has not identified a motive, nor any co-conspirators or others with advanced knowledge. To date, the FBI team has conducted more than 460 interviews, executed search warrants, including at the shooter's residence, and seized electronic media to include phones, laptops, hard drives, and thumb drives. Legal process has been issued to dozens of companies, and we've received more than 2,000 tips from the public. The full resources of the FBI have been brought to bear in furtherance of the investigation. Agents, analysts, professional staff, experts. I've personally visited the site of this horrific attack and seen firsthand the work of FBI Pittsburgh and our partners on the front line, and want to thank all involved for their ongoing and tireless efforts to get the answers that we need and to deliver justice. Specialized resources deployed included evidence response teams, victim services specialists, laboratory and operational technology division resources to process physical and digital evidence.
And we know that the FBI lab was heavily involved in getting into the phone, right? They shipped that phone off immediately because they didn't have the passcode to get in, and they were able to crack it about a week or 2 later, which, I give them props because it isn't easy to crack a phone
A shooting
when you don't have the code.
reconstruction team. Additionally, our explosive experts have analyzed the 3 IEDs recovered, 2 from the shooter's vehicle, 1 from the family residence, and our behavior.
Which I still owe you guys an episode on how the feds exploit phones. So I will do that for you guys in the future as well. You guys want me to go to 1.5 speed? We're at 1.25 speed right now, guys. Let me try 1.5 speed. I'll play it for a little bit.
Behavioral analysis unit, importantly, is helping to build a profile of the shooter to include his mental state. Next, I want to provide a brief highlighted overview of the timeline that has been established to date through witness interviews and other information. Again, this is our understanding at present and is subject.
All right, so this is the timeline of the events. I'm going to have to go lower the speed a little bit here because I want you guys to actually hear this. But he's going to go through the actual timeline of what happened.
To change and further refinement as more facts are collected. On July 3rd, the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was announced. On July 6th, the shooter registered to attend the rally and performed a search for, quote, how far was Oswald from Kennedy?
Okay, so he did that search on July 6th. How far was Oswald from Kennedy? Some of you guys might not be familiar. Real quick, Oswald, which is so funny, was the alleged shooter of John F. Kennedy, okay? Which I did a whole episode on this. You guys go ahead, feel free on Rumble. We know who the real shooters are, but the point is that that is the mainstream narrative, the official narrative of who killed John F. Kennedy was Harvey Lee Oswald. This guy right here, right? This dude right here. Famously said, I'm the patsy, okay? This is the guy that assassinated John F. Kennedy allegedly. Lee Harvey Oswald, right?
On July 7th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there for approximately 20 minutes. We assessed the show's advancement. On July 7th.
Okay. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just play it through. I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to let him go through the timeline of events. I'm going to do this at 1.25 speed because this is kind of important. So, matter of fact, I'm going to get my notebook because I actually want to write this shit down. All right, W, paper, and pen. All right? Let's get this thing cracking. Hold on one sec, guys. My fucking soundboard is acting crazy. It's not working. I can't hit the Don DeMarcos right now. God damn it. Hold on one sec, guys. All right. Let's go back. All right, let's go back and play this. Let's get the full timeline.
Performed a search for, quote, how far was of the shooter to include in digital evidence, a shooting reconstruction team. Additionally, our explosive experts have analyzed the 3 IEDs recovered, 2 from the shooter's vehicle, 1 from the family residence. And our behavioral analysis unit, importantly, is helping to build a profile of the shooter to include his mental state. Next, I want to provide a brief highlighted overview of the timeline that has been established.
So we got 3 IEDs, 2 at the house, 2 in the car, 1 in the house, 3 IEDs.
Established to date through witness interviews and other information. Again, this is our understanding at present and is subject to change and further refinement as more facts are collected. On July 3rd, the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was announced. On July 6th, the shooter registered to attend the rally and performed a search for, quote, how far was Oswald from Kennedy. On July 7th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there for approximately 20 minutes. We assess this shows advanced planning and reconnaissance on his part. On July 12th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Clairton Sportsman Club, where he practiced shooting. On the morning of July 13th, at approximately 10 a.m., the shooter returned to the farm show grounds and remained there for about 70 minutes before returning home again. At approximately 1:30 p.m., while at the residence, the shooter's father gave him a rifle for the purpose he believed of going back to the sportsman club. About 25 minutes later, to the farm show grounds. And
so he went there on 10 a.m. on July 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Then,
on the morning of July 13th, at approximately 10 a.m., the shooter returned to the farm show grounds and remained there for about 70 minutes before.
So he was there for over an hour.
Returning home again. At approximately 1:30 p.m., while at the residence, the shooter's father gave him a rifle for the.
So he acquires the rifle at 1:30 p.m. Mind you, guys, remember, the rifle was registered under the father, but if I'm not mistaken, he sold it to his son sold it to him, which you need to do like a bill of sale, whatever. And we talked about that on other episodes. But the gun actually was Crooks, but the father had originally purchased it. They were able to find that through ATF e-traces.
The purpose he believed of going back to the sportsman club.
Okay, so he claimed that he was going to go back to the shooting range when he got the gun back. That was at 1:30 p.m.
25 minutes later, the shooter purchased ammunition while en route to the Butler Farm Show ground.
So roughly 2 p.m., he buys ammunition. So he gets at 1:30, and roughly 30 minutes later, he's buying ammunition.
The subject then arrived at the scene, was moving around the farm show grounds close to the American Glass Research AGR building, from which he ultimately committed the attack. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 3:51 p.m., the shooter flew a drone approximately 200 yards from the farm show grounds for about 11 minutes. The drone and controller were later found in the subject's car. Analysis has not revealed any photos or video taken by the drone, but we can confirm that he was live streaming at the time and would have been able to view it on his controller. The first reported sighting of the shooter by local law enforcement was at approximately 4:26 p.m. At approximately 5:10 p.m., the shooter was again identified by local law enforcement as a suspicious person around the AGR building. And at approximately 5:14 p.m., a local SWAT operator took a photo of the shooter. At about 5:32 p.m., local SWAT observed the shooter next to the AGR building, using his phone, browsing news sites, and with a range enforcement.
Okay, so 5:15, they took a pic of him
as a suspicious person around the AGR building. And at approximately 5:14 p.m., a local SWAT operator took a photo of the shooter. At about 5:32 p.m., local SWAT observed the shooter next to the AGR building, using his phone, browsing news sites, and with a rangefinder. At approximately 5:38 p.m., the photo of the shooter taken earlier was sent to local SWAT operators in a text message group. Subsequently, approximately 25 minutes prior to the shooting, the U.S. Secret Service command post was notified of a suspicious person.
All right, so 25 minutes, so roughly so Secret Service gets the info, 25 minutes, they shot him at 6:10, so around 5:50, Secret Service gets this info, suspicious person.
Officers lost sight of the subject from approximately 6:02 p.m. to 6:08 p.m., but continued to communicate with each other in an attempt to locate him. Recently discovered video from a local business shows the shooter pulling himself up onto the AGR building rooftop at approximately 6:06 p.m.
Okay, this is important, guys. So there was a lot of talk about him using a ladder to get up, right? Now we know that he didn't even use that ladder, though he purchased one on that day. He just, or he purchased one in general. He just hoisted himself up. He climbed up at 6:06 by himself.
And at approximately 6:08 p.m., the subject was observed on the roof by local law enforcement. At approximately 6:11 p.m., a local police officer was lifted to the roof by another officer, saw the shooter and radioed that he was armed with
What time was that?
roof by local law enforcement. At approximately 6:11 p.m.,
So 6:11, they actually see him. This is where I told you guys, remember? He hoists him up, and then he's dangling there, and he sees the guy, and he just falls off. This is what went down. Because there was a lot of criticism, like, whoa, why didn't this officer, shoot this guy? You saw him with a rifle on the roof. What the fuck? Well, his hands were occupied, guys, because he got boosted up there by the other officer to try to climb it, and the dude saw him, pointed his rifle at him. Obviously, his hands are occupied because he's holding himself up, dangling there, and then he lets go and falls back. The officer actually hurt himself after that.
Local police officer was lifted to the roof by another officer, saw the shooter, and radioed that he was armed with, quote, a long gun. Within approximately the next 30 seconds, the shots were fired. The evidence recovery team found 8 shell casings at the scene next to the shooter's body. We believe that the shooter, fired 8 rounds. While the investigation has not determined motive, the investigative team continues to review information from legal returns, including online and social media accounts. Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about...
All right, so this is what we're going to do. One more time, we're going to go through it because I wrote down everything, but I'm going to do it at 1.5 speed, make sure I have everything right. Okay, because we need this timeline to analyze everything else later, okay? Real fast.
30 seconds, about 5 from which he ultimately committed the attack. Traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there. FBI have been brought to bear.
Okay, we're going to go 1.5 speed, guys, one more time. Make sure we got this right, and then we're going to keep going in, all right?
In furtherance of the investigation. Agents, analysts, professional staff, experts. I've personally visited the site of this horrific attack and seen firsthand the work of FBI Pittsburgh and our partners on the front line, and want to thank all involved for their ongoing and tireless efforts to get the answers that we need and to deliver justice. Specialized resources deployed included evidence response teams, victim services specialists, laboratory and operational technology division resources to process physical and digital evidence, a shooting reconstruction team. Additionally, our explosive experts have analyzed the 3 IEDs recovered, 2 from the shooter's vehicle, 1 from the family residence. And our behavioral analysis unit, importantly, is helping to build a profile of the shooter to include his mental state. Next, I want to provide a brief highlighted overview of the timeline that has been established to date through witness interviews and other information. Again, this is our understanding.
All right, pay attention, guys. This is going to be the timeline.
At present and is subject to change and further refinement as more facts are collected. On July 3rd, the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was announced. On July 6th, the shooter registered to attend the rally and performed a search for, quote, how far was Oswald from Kennedy. On July 7th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there for approximately 20 minutes. We assess this shows advanced planning and reconnaissance on his part. On July 12th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Clairton Sportsman Club, where he practiced shooting. On the morning of July 13th, at approximately 10 a.m., the shooter returned to the farm show grounds and remained there for about 70 minutes before returning home again. At approximately 1:30 p.m., while at the residence, the shooter's father gave him a rifle for the purpose he believed of going back to the Sportsman Club. About 25 minutes later, the shooter purchased ammunition while en route to the Butler Farm Show grounds. The subject then arrived at the scene, was moving around the farm show grounds close to the American Glass Research AGR building, from which he ultimately committed the attack. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 3:51 p.m., the shooter flew a drone approximately 200 yards from the farm show grounds for about 11 minutes. The drone and controller were later found in the subject's car. Analysis has not revealed any photos or video taken by the drone, but we can confirm that he was live streaming at the time and would have been able to view it on his controller. The first reported sighting of the shooter by local law enforcement was at approximately 4:26 p.m. At approximately 5:10 p.m., the shooter was again identified by local law enforcement as a suspicious person around the AGR building. And at approximately 5:14 p.m., a local SWAT operator took a photo of the shooter. At about 5:32 p.m., local SWAT observed the shooter next to the AGR building, using his phone, browsing news sites, and with a rangefinder.
And I think it's important that you guys notice that it's the local police that are having all these first sights of him.
At approximately 5:38 p.m., the photo of the shooter taken earlier was sent to local SWAT operators in a text message group. Subsequently, approximately 25 minutes prior to the shooting, the U.S. Secret Service command post was notified of a suspicious person.
Okay, so Secret Service didn't find out about this guy until 25 minutes before the shooting, around 5:50 p.m. Okay, so but locals, they already had him identified, seen by 4:26 p.m. and they were sending his picture around their text groups. And again, guys, I know you guys say, what the fuck, communication? Guys, they all use different radios, different agencies.
Officers lost sight of the subject from approximately 6:02 p.m. to 6:08 p.m., but continued to communicate with each other in an attempt to locate him. Recently discovered video from a local business shows the shooter pulling himself up onto the AGR building rooftop at approximately 6:06 p.m. And at approximately 6:08 p.m., the subject was observed on the roof by local law enforcement. At approximately 6:11 p.m., a local police officer was lifted to the roof by another officer, saw the shooter, and radioed that he was armed with, quote, a long gun. Within approximately the next 30 seconds, the shots were fired. The evidence recovery team found 8 shell casings at the scene next to the shooter's body. We believe that the shooter, fired 8 rounds. While the investigation has not determined motive, the investigative team continues to review information from legal returns, including online and social media accounts. Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe.
Okay, now why is this important, guys? Because everyone was saying that this guy was like a ghost and he didn't post anything on social media. They had a hard time finding a social footprint for this guy, which is why they actually went ahead and got like a personality assessment on this individual through the behavior analyst over at the FBI, because it's very difficult to figure out what was this guy fucking like, because he wasn't really on social media and he was kind of a loner. Not many people actually knew him like that. Guys, give me ones in the chat, by the way, if you guys like the 1.5 speed. Give me 2s if you guys want me to go back to 1.25 again. Give me one if you guys like the 1.5 speed, or 2 if you guys want the 1.25. 1.5, 1, 1.25, 2. Right now we're at 1.5.
There were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
All right, we're going to go ahead and I appreciate, okay, so we're going to keep it at 1.5. So we'll keep it at 1.5 speed.
While the investigative team is still working to verify this account to determine if it...
Oh, hold on, I got to pull up a tweet for you guys here in a second, by the way. Actually, what was the social media?
And anti-immigration themes. Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe. There were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature. While the investigative team is still working to verify this account to determine if it did in fact belong to the shooter, we believe it important to share and note it today, particularly given the general absence of other information to date from social media and other sources of information that reflect on the shooter's potential motive and mindset. These are the facts, in part, that the investigation has revealed to date. While the shooter is dead, our work is very much ongoing and urgent. Thank you, and I look forward to answering any and all questions.
Thank you. Let's go back to the resources.
All right, so real quick, I got this thing here. It was the app was called Gab, guys, right? So Trump gunman Thomas Crooks likely had a Gab account that he used to support President Biden's site, CEO said. So we just heard here that apparently he claimed anti-immigration and anti-Semitism, right? And the account Epic Microwave, which CEO stressed he has been unable to confirm, was definitely Crooks, posted in the site 9 times in total. Torba tweeted just 30 minutes after getting the law enforcement request, right? So Torba is the CEO, Andrew Torba. He's the owner of the CEO of Gab, right? Because he got an emergency disclosure request from a law enforcement agency, which we know that's the FBI, right? While the account made very few posts on the site, the majority of them were in support of Biden, said the CEO of the platform, which launched in 2016 as a completely free speech alternative to Twitter. A number of posts in particular expressed support for Biden's COVID lockdowns, border policies, and executive orders. So that's kind of in contrast to what the deputy director just said. So he might have his facts wrong there, because it was pro-Biden comments made by the account, which is with its handle blacked out. And this is Andrew Torba. So let's see here. And one, the poster mocked someone sharing an election projection, writing in February 2021, didn't you also think Biden would lose in a landslide? Yeah, I would not be very confident in your election predictions. In another thread, the user defended Biden's border policies with a study that compared crime statistics for undocumented migrants, legal immigrants, and American citizens in Texas. And then Biden executive orders don't incentivize human trafficking, as human traffickers aren't interested in citizenships. Likewise, the majority of illegal immigrants are not criminals, and in fact, some studies, such as the one linked below, show lower rates of crime committed by these individuals, the poster wrote. So it seems like this may have been him. And he's talking back to these individuals. A number of posts in particular expressed support for Biden's COVID lockdowns, border policies, and executive order. Torba continued to explain. So this guy was a Biden supporter in his tweets. Or not tweets, but his, I guess, comments. Torba said he was disclosing this information at significant personal risk and business risk. It is also unclear if the extensive path to citizenship is in fact effective at routing out potential bad actors, hence why there is a review of that system the user added. So, yeah. Okay, it was briefly forced offline in 2018 after it emerged that it had been used by mass shooter Robert Bowers to spread anti-Semitic hate before he gunned down 11 people at the tree of whatever. Okay, so I think they're talking more about Gab right here. Okay, yeah, it can become the favorite of many fringe voices. I don't even use Gab. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I don't even know. Gab? Let's see here. Gab. Okay, the home of free speech and parallel economy. Okay, interesting. So I guess it's like, I mean, Twitter's free speech now, which explains why this thing is not so popular. Well, it's more free speech.
Do you need more money?
Senator, there is an...
Okay, so he's asking him, as you guys know, I've told you guys before that the Secret Service has manpower problems, right? They can't keep their agents. So Graham here is asking him, does Secret Service need more resources, more money?
a single branch, a single agency in the executive branch that needs more money. Everyone would take more resources. We've had a great relationship with the Department of Homeland Security, the Office of Management and Budget.
Do you feel constrained to ask for more resources by anybody?
No, sir, we don't. And actually, we have a great relationship with our appropriators and obviously the authorizing committees, and they have always looked out for the Secret Service.
So I would encourage you to think big when it comes to resourcing the department in light of what happened here. The Encrypted app. Paul, can you tell us about these apps? Have they been broken into? The guy had some apps that were encrypted?
I think we've experienced a range of returns on this. Some of the applications that he was using online were encrypted in nature. Some of the email accounts.
Have we broken into them?
We've received returns. There are some that we have not been able to get information back because of their encrypted nature.
Is there any way to solve that problem?
Senator, we've talked about this before. We need a solution that provides lawful access to law enforcement.
So you're telling me the guy that took 8 shots at the president, former president, has apps that we can't get into that may, if you could get into, reveal some relevant information?
That is correct, Senator.
So if he were talking to some foreign power, and I don't think any foreign power would hire this guy, by the way, so I'm not overly worried this was some great plot by the Iranians because they couldn't even think of this. However, there could come a day where something like this is very important. How do we solve this problem?
Senator, as we've been saying, we need a solution that provides lawful access where when we go to
so you're telling me, I agree with you, I'm not blaming you. We have encrypted apps of an assassin, a murderer, and we can't get into them all these days after. That needs to be fixed, folks. I'm all for privacy, but to a point. What if, in the future, somebody's using these apps to communicate with a foreign power?
Yeah, and guys, encrypted apps are very difficult to deal with. I remember when I was on a job as an agent, Telegram, Signal, all these apps, fairly hard to crack. That's why a lot of drug dealers use Signal.
Power. I think we need to know these things. We need to know them in real time. So lessons learned is that everything failed. Corrective action. It seems to me you need more money and more people. Accountability. At the end of the day, how many people do you think will be relieved of their duties, Mr. Robe?
And just so you guys know, they can't really do anything with their investigation. The only thing they could do is kind of write laws in and get more funding. So that's why they're asking questions like this, guys. They're trying to get to the bottom of it and figure out how they can, potentially fix this situation, maybe more funding, more resources, whatever it may be.
Because of this.
Senator, I publicly cannot, and I cannot weigh in on that right now, right? It has to be a fair and neutral process.
From a fair point of view, would you say this is a...
Guys, also do me a favor, bro. We only got 739 likes here, 741 likes. Guys, let's get to 2,000 likes. I'm giving you a lot of sauce here. We're breaking this thing down. Probably the best breakdown on YouTube when it comes to these hearings and giving you guys the real sauce of what's going on with these federal law enforcement agencies. So all I ask, guys, open this up on YouTube. Open up a tab on YouTube separately and then like the video. It means a lot, helps a lot. Appreciate that, gentlemen. Let's keep going.
Major system failure at every turn, and those in charge of the system in question, not only was it embarrassing, they failed.
So, Senator, again, if there were policy violations, those individuals will be held accountable, and they will be subject to our table of
policies if you could.
Yes, sir, we will. But they will be held to our table of penalties, which will include up to termination.
Thank you.
And I explained this to you guys before, OPR, there's a bunch of different things. You can get a day on the beach, or 2 weeks on the beach, a month on the beach, all types of stuff that they could punish you on.
Director Rowe, in your testimony here today, as well as in your written testimony, you said very, very clearly that you can't defend why that building with the shooter on top of it was not better covered. You were very clear. You cannot defend that. So my question to you is, my understanding is that there's a detailed site survey that is done prior to an event to identify potential threat points. So talk to me about...
And typically when they do the site survey, guys, they do it beforehand, and that's how they put people in different areas when they do their site survey.
That site survey, I'm sure you've had a chance to look at it now after action. And how did that site survey get approved? when it was so clear that that was a major threat from that building.
Also known as an operation plan as well.
Thank you, Senator. So our Pittsburgh field office did the advance. During that advance, not only were they discussing amongst themselves about mitigating the line of sight, but also they were discussing with other agencies that were supporting it. Our counter snipers met with their counterparts. The team lead and team lead met. They walked the site. They identified the AGR building. And if I may, Senator, if I could point out something right now, if I may, and we will place this for the record, but this is the point of view.
Okay, so he brought a little board.
From the second floor of the AGR building. This point of view is the point of view where the counter sniper team locally was posted.
Okay, so this is where they were supposed to be.
The gold arrow indicates where the shooter fired from. Looking left. Why was the assailant not seen? When we were told that building was going to be covered, that there had been a face-to-face that afternoon, that our team leads met. This was the view. Let me show you another view, Senator. B. This view is a reenactment by one of my agents, laying flat. There was a 5-inch rise on the middle of that roof. The assailant would have had to present his bore over that to get his shot off.
Okay. So this is what the this is what his sniper saw when the shots were fired.
The view underneath reflects the perspective that he would have had. Again, I call your attention back to the first exhibit if they'd have looked left. Give me C. This is what our counter sniper team saw. Shooter, no elbows. You barely make out the crown of his head. Below it, the assailant up prone. And let me just tell you.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm gonna give that Secret Service agent. Don DeMarco. I mean, the agent that shot Crooks and killed him. Hey man, this dude must have played some Call of Duty or something like that. Cause I mean, yeah, he had a sniper and everything, but he just was able to just see the top of the head and shoot that boy. And it only took one shot too, guys. So that was a good shot on the Secret Service guy to act so quickly. Which, if you guys, real quick, go ahead and pull up the video. I'll pull up the video for you guys on the side. We'll keep playing this, though.
Tell you, our counter sniper, this individual, I know him. I consider him a friend. He has covered me operationally in conflict zones. And when I did my time on the president's detail, he exemplifies the courage, the skill, and the ability to respond under great stress in such short time to neutralize a threat and prevent further loss of life. Getting back to your question, Senator.
I'm going to give, look, I'm going to show, I got to give some love there because he's defending the sniper that actually killed Crooks before he can get more shots off, right? So this is good, man. Standing by your guys. Guys, this actually, some of you guys might be like, oh, this is bullshit. Guys, when you're law enforcement, you got to stick by your guys. You got to lead from the front as a leader. You know, you do your best to not throw your people under the bus, and you do your best to protect your people, right? And the fact that he's given this sniper his roses, right, in this testimony to show, look, this is all my guy had to see, and this is all he was able to do. Hey, man, I give him credit for that because that's not the easiest shot. But yeah.
These were discussions that were had between the Pittsburgh field office.
Of course, the Secret Service still fucked up. Don't get it twisted. But he's given him his flowers for hitting a fairly hard shot, especially so quickly.
The local counterparts and everyone supporting that visit that day. And that's why when I laid in that position, I could not, and I will not, and I cannot understand why there was not better coverage, or at least somebody looking at that roof line when that's where they were posted.
Director Rowe, the Secret Service, state and local law enforcement were on multiple communication channels, is my understanding, during that time. And as a result, local law enforcement was only able to call in to a state command center that was then relayed from the Secret Service. This seemed to be a recurring issue in emergency situations that we're finding with the federal government, that there's not a seamless way to communicate, particularly if you're relying on local law enforcement to deal with what was clear.
Real quick, this is I got some footage from the actual thing.
What these counter snipers trained to do. But this was the first time in history, according to a former senior agent, that a Secret Service sniper killed a would-be assassin. But clearly a shot too late. In the moments leading up to the deadly shooting, you can see those two counter snipers.
So he sees them first here, it looks like.
Scanning for
and then boom, he immediately gets on his scope.
Threats in their positions on the rooftop behind former President Trump. Their high-powered rifles appear to be pointed in the direction of the gunman's position on an adjacent building overlooking the rally. Within seconds, chaos.
He's going down! He's on the roof! He's going down!
Stand here. He's on top of the roof. Don't go over there.
The sniper appears momentarily startled by the gunfire, his face leaving the scope, but then quickly recovering and taking out the would-be assassin.
There's no room for error, so that shot.
All right, let's go back to the testimony.
Really a major vulnerability. Local law enforcement in Butler told my staff that they had no way of communicating directly with the Secret Service. And if I listened to Mr. Abbate saying there was about 30 seconds between when the local law enforcement reported that there was a man on the roof with a gun, 30 seconds, if it's communicated directly to a counter sniper team, would that be enough time to react prior to the firing of those shots?
Senator, if we'd had that information, they would have been able to address it more quickly. It appears that that information was...
I see some of you guys in the chat are asking, how did he miss all 8 shots? Guys, he was nervous. Remember, law enforcement saw him, and I think that scared him. The fact that those 2 officers tried to get up on the roof, and then he saw them, he started shooting immediately after that. So obviously he was probably nervous. Dude, he's trying to shoot the President of the United States, and now law enforcement saw him. He's like, oh, shit, oh, God. He starts whipping shots.
Was stuck or siloed in that state and local channel. I will tell you, though, that there were our tactical elements did have, not only did they have embeds from Butler County ESU with them, but they...
Quick chat from Sandy Balls, which is hilarious. He goes, hey, Myron, I appreciate you for what you do. WFNF, WFed Reacts. Just got my yacht party ticket. A little nervous, but looking forward to it. Yes. Yeah, guys, yacht party, August 10th, by the way, okay? Yeah, August 10th, yacht party, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's going to be lit. Only $9.98 to jump in, guys. Open bar, free food. We're going to have probably 100, 200 girls there. It's going to be litty. Good time. Yacht seats up to 350 people. Brand new yacht. August 10th, guys. Get your tickets right now, man. ffpod.org, okay? Get in there.
They also had radios on the tactical net. It is troubling to me that we did not get that information as quickly as we should have. We didn't know that there was this incident going on, and the only thing we had was that locals were working.
I'm going to put the yacht party link right here in the chat for you guys, by the way. Mods, here it is. Guys, get your tickets now. Jump in. It's going to be a great time.
An issue at the 3 o'clock, which would have been the former president's right-hand side, which is where the shot came. Nothing about man on the roof, nothing about man with a gun. None of that information ever made it over our net.
So that will change?
Yes, sir. We are working right now to figure out the interoperability and also make sure that we do have access to those channels, whether through a counterpart system or some other means.
For the people in my state that keep asking me, I just don't get how he got on the roof. I know we've gone through great details and a lot of examination. Could you just give a minute on what went wrong and how you think it can be fixed? Because I think it's just going to help to dispel the conspiracy theories. There are some people that think it didn't really happen, which of course is completely ridiculous. It did. There are some people that think all kinds of conspiracies went on within the government, which is also false. But could you just tell them what went wrong so they understand?
No, thank you, Senator. I thought long and hard about this. I think this was a failure of imagination, a failure to imagine that we actually do live in a very dangerous world where people do actually want to do harm to our protectees. I think it was a failure to challenge our own assumptions, the assumptions that we know our partners are going to do everything they can, and they do this every day. But we didn't challenge our own assumptions of, we assume that someone's going to cover that. We assume that there's going to be uniformed presence. We didn't challenge that internally during that advance. So moving forward, I've directed that when we're talking to people and we're making requests, we are very specific about what we want. We are providing explicit instructions on exactly what our expectation is and what we need them to do and what we want them to do. That's the only way that we're going to be able to move forward beyond this. And let me just tell you that our state and local law enforcement partners are the best. So this belief that somehow they are less than federal law enforcement or they're less than the Secret Service, they're out there patrolling communities every day. They're the ones out there going into hazardous conditions every day. They know their communities. They have the ability to enforce state and local laws. Our advanced agents do not.
Right.
We need them, and we need them to be partners with us. And I think we need to be very clear to them, and that may have contributed to this situation.
So to you, I made public documents that show Secret Service deployed a counter unmanned aerial system operator on July the 13th, according to the...
Long story short, also, guys, that I want to say here, the locals were in charge of securing that area, but the 2 guys didn't want to be on the roof because it was hot. So, L for them on that one, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's L. And that's why that's how the guy was able to kind of get that window and get up there. Now, with that said, it still falls on Secret Service because they're the lead agency in this situation. So even if the state and locals fucked up, you are still responsible for putting them in that position of authority. So what you should have done was you should have had a Secret Service agent there managing them, right? And doing that. And I'll tell you guys this from professional experience. They try not to do that because they don't want to come in as micromanaging, right? When you're working with another law enforcement agency, there's this level of respect where you don't want to clash heads and be a dick. Like, you don't want to tell them this is how you do your job and shit. So they gave them a little bit of autonomy, and that fucked them up. I could tell you guys this right now, and they're not going to mention this in the testimony, but I know this just from working this type of shit. What's going to happen from this point forward, guys, is every single time they have other agencies working with them, they're going to have a Secret Service agent babysitting every single component of the security detail from this time forward. I promise you that's what's going to happen. They will never, ever let another agency secure an area without a Secret Service agent being there to manage it, okay? Because the reality is this. Did the state and locals fuck up? Yes, okay? Did the Secret Service fuck up? Yes. How did the Secret Service fuck up? They fucked up by delegating that authority to a local agency that doesn't have the same responsibility that they do. Does that make sense? So basically, they put these guys in charge when in reality, Secret Service is going to have to take all the hits if there's a fuck up. So that was their mess up. They should have had an agent out there with those people managing, saying, yo, we need to get somebody on the roof, et cetera, et cetera. That's where fucked up there. Because the guys basically left their post because it was hot.
Secret Service, the drone system was supposed to be operational at 3 p.m. that day. However, we've been told by Secret Service that because of cellular bandwidth problems, it wasn't operational until about 5:20 of that day. If the system was operational.
But the responsibility ultimately falls on Secret Service because they're the ones that's responsible for the detail. So it's your fault if you put people that are idiots in the post and they fuck up. It's on you as putting them there.
Secret Service would have had the ability to detect the shooter and his own drone use. Why is the Secret Service dependent upon local cellular network? Does the Secret Service have a backup plan in place?
Yes, thank you, Senator. And that is something that I briefed in the closed door, and again, something that has cost me a lot of sleep because of the eventual outcome of the assailant. That what if we had geolocated him because that counter-UAS platform had been up? It is something that I have struggled with to understand, and I have no explanation for it. Okay. It is something that I feel as though we could have perhaps found him. We could have maybe stopped him. Maybe on that particular day, he would have decided this isn't the day to do it because law enforcement just found me flying my drone. People fly drones all the time on the peripheries of our sites, and we go out and we talk to them and we ascertain what their intentions are. On this day in particular, because of the connectivity challenge, as you noted, there was a delay, and he flew his drone at 3:51 approximately. So moving forward, we are leveraging resources from the Department of Homeland Security and others to make sure that we have dedicated connectivity so that we're not reliant on public domain, so that we can ensure that whatever assets we have in place, those assets are operational. And that is my commitment to you, that we're going to make sure we're going to do that, and that is something we're moving out on.
In the one question of looking backward to the event on the 13th, Director Abbate, can you just talk a little bit about how did Mr. Crooks?
So now they're going to talk about the backpack, the rifle in the backpack.
How was he able to get an AR-15 onto the roof of that building? Does your investigation illuminate anything that we have learned to help to make that point more clear?
We don't have definitive evidence yet as to how he got the rifle up there. Based on everything that's been collected thus far, photos, video, eyewitness accounts, we do believe he likely had it in the backpack.
Broken down in the backpack?
We're still assessing that. Our laboratory has looked at the rifle itself and measured that against the backpack itself. And if placed in this backpack, it would extend outside. It would have been visible. We don't have anyone who observed him with the backpack with a rifle barrel or other part of it sticking out of the backpack. But the rifle would not have fit fully into this backpack to be concealed and whole. We have video that was recently found of the shooter walking in a distance from his car just before.
Also, the other director testified that the gun had a collapsible stock, which means you can fold it. The back end of the gun can be folded to obviously decrease the profile for better concealment.
6 p.m., about 5:56, I believe. And based on everything we have, we assess that he returned to his vehicle at that time, got the backpack, and then proceeded back to the area, into the AGR building. And then he's observed, of course, on the roof just minutes later, holding the backpack in front of him. In fact, there's dash cam footage from a police vehicle that shows him briefly traversing the roof with the backpack in front of him. And then it's just minutes after that that he's actually seen by the officer who I described with the rifle on the roof. It's possible that he broke the rifle down, though we don't have conclusive evidence of that, and took it out of the bag on the roof in those moments before and reassembled it there. That's one of the theories we're looking at and working on right now.
Thank you for that. You take me right, Acting Director Rowe. Thank you for your years of dedicated service and jumping in a hot time. But you take me right to this point of communication. There's been a lot of conversation about and even in your written and verbal testimony, you have talked a lot about the communication in the.
And I predicted this when this first happened, issues with radio and communication between multiple law enforcement agencies. Guys, remember, you had Secret Service there, state police there, local police there, county, and then city police too. You got like 3 to 4 different law enforcement agencies, and then you had HSI out there. So you had 5 different agencies out there at bare minimum, if not maybe more. Some other people might have been brought in to help as well.
Disparate nature in which it's happening across the different channels. One sort of foundational question that I have is, are all elements of an event communicated on the same channel? If I lost my kid and I'm at a big rally, are local law enforcement talking on the same channel about me losing my kid, that they're talking about a suspicious individual?
This is a good question.
So when it comes to the locals, they likely have some type of common channel that they work off of in a county or an adjoining municipality. When it comes to the Secret Service, we do have various channels for various agents and our uniformed division officers working specific aspects of that advance.
So it's not possible that the delay in communication or the losing of the thread of tracking this individual was sort of lost in the commotion of all of the other communications that could have been, or maybe was sort of separate from the communication channels that were happening.
Senator, I can only speak to the Secret Service lines of communication, and we did not have anything beyond suspicious person that was communicated to us.
Okay, so obviously he's under oath, so he's going to be very careful with what he says. So don't worry, I'll go ahead and tell you guys. Every law enforcement agency, guys, has their own radio system, okay? They have their own radios that they use. They have their own channels that they use. They have their own frequencies that they use, blah, 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 right? So a lot of the times what happens is when you work with other agencies, well, actually, I know this for a fact because I've done this before. You typically get your agency radio and you give it to one of these people, right? You might not necessarily have enough radios, though, to go around. That's your agency that you're going to give to a local. So what you'll do is you'll give one radio to like maybe 3 or 4 guys, right? Or maybe you'll give 2 radios out to a group of 10 guys, whatever the hell it is, right? Because a lot of times you won't have enough radios. That's just one issue, right? There's many failure points here, as you guys can see where I'm going here. And they might not necessarily be together all the time, or they'll have one guy that has a Secret Service radio so he could go ahead and use his state and local radio and convey that to everybody else. But this caused a lot of problems. This is actually one of the worst things when it comes to working with other agencies, guys, is different radio frequencies that they use and different channels that they use. Now, I know you guys might say, well, why don't they just all go on the same channel, etc.? It doesn't work that way, guys, because some agencies have encrypted radios where you can't even get on their channel unless you got that specific radio, okay? Especially with the feds. A lot of the feds radios, you can't get them on police scanners and shit like that, right? You might be able to get the local police scanners, but a lot of times you won't be able to get the fed ones. The fed ones are typically a lot more secure. So that's what just ends up happening. And you got different agencies, like I said before, guys, you got 5 different agencies there. Everyone is using different radios. So communication like that with as many law enforcement officers they had there, hundreds probably at that rally, right? They probably had 100 guys there, if not more. That's a nightmare, guys. And you can't all be on the same channel because if you're on the same channel, it's going to be clogged, right? It's going to be like no one knows what the fuck's going on. People would like to talk on the radio sometimes, fuck it up for everybody else. So everyone's on different channels. So the communication is a fucking nightmare, right? And I told you guys this. When this first all broke out, I knew right away the radios were a big problem in this. I knew right away because I used to be there. I used to be on the job. I knew working with other agencies. Anytime there's an issue that comes, whether it's a shooting, the support isn't able to get there quickly enough, there was a miscommunication, blue on blue, shootings, whatever it may be, it almost always boils down to radio problems every fucking time because law enforcement agencies all use different radios and frequencies, okay? Give me 1 in the chat that makes sense and you guys learn something new there. Or 2 if it doesn't make sense and you got a question. 1 if that makes sense with how radios work with different agencies. 2s if you don't understand, and then tell me specifically what confuses you.
Last question really quickly because I'm out of time, but Acting Director, was there any communication?
Okay, if you're going to put 2, then you need to put me a 2. Why it doesn't make sense. See phase EXT. And also, by the way, guys, you guys said, why didn't they have a meeting before this? They did. They had an operation meeting before. But again, it's difficult a lot of times to convey information when you have multiple radios and channels that you got to use. Someone said, what is blue on blue? Blue on blue is when you get into, when officers shoot each other. That's happened before. Because guys might be working undercover, some guys might be in plain clothes, they don't know, etc. That's why operations plans are so important, where everyone is there and everyone sees each other and knows who's undercover, who's wearing plain clothes, etc.
With the Secret Service that was talking directly with.
Of course, this dude spam talk shit and says, choose the radios dirt. I love it when people that have zero professional experience talk shit. Spam, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, you don't know anything. You know what I mean? You don't know shit. You're one of these tinfoil hat idiots that just comes in and talking shit, think you know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know anything. Shut the fuck up. Hate when idiots come in and say, it's like, bro, you get your fucking stupid ass out of here, man. Don't know shit.
The former president's detail. That feels like there's been some question by colleagues about why the call wasn't made to delay the event. Help us understand the communication that either was or was not happening directly with the president.
Okay, who Adam said, good question too. Why don't they give radios just for that day? They do. But that's why I just described to you. They might not have enough to give out. So you got 10 local guys that are there to help support your mission. You might have 1 or 2 radios that you could divvy out. You give 1 radio to them, and then he's the main POC, and he's got to communicate to all his guys what's going on. You can see how that causes problems, right? Because let's say one of the local officers sees something, but he doesn't have the Secret Service radio. So he's got to convey it to the guy that does have the Secret Service radio. Yo, we got a suspicious guy over here, blah, blah, blah. That guy gets the message like, wait, what's going on? He's trying to clarify. But then he's responsible for, getting that information to Secret Service. But he's not sure. Like, it could create a lot of chaos because there's many points of failure in the communication because there's different radios out. Does that make sense? Let me see here if anyone else. That was a good question. Yeah, this dude Spam is an idiot, bro. Like, I hate low IQ people that just come in here with their tinfoil hats and got like, it's like, bro, shut the hell up, man. I'm totally open to hearing other perspectives, but when you come in here and say dumb stuff like that, like derp radios, like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. You've never been on a law enforcement operation. You don't understand how it works. You've never ran an op plan, never been out there doing any type of protection detail. Shut up. Why do people that have zero qualifications, that have zero idea of how this shit works, commenting? Like, why? Shut up.
Former president's detail to make the call to delay 10 minutes. When we've all been to these events, they never happen on time. But to delay while this was being investigated.
So the detail, they were operating on their net, which our security room was monitoring. But again, having information of a suspicious individual. There were other calls that day of individuals that came to the attention of law enforcement, of people that need.
Well, appeal to authority, Enigma Vids, you moron, matters sometimes when the person that's speaking has direct knowledge of said situation. This isn't a debate, okay? Don't try to sit here and say, appeal to authority. I'm not debating you motherfuckers. I'm telling you guys more than likely what occurred and why we had the failure that we had. This isn't a debate. This is me telling you what the fuck it is, all right? Appeal to authority. Bro, does it look like I'm trying to go one-on-one with you and debate the situation here, the problem here? I'm giving you the probable cause of what led to what happened. And by the way, I called this before they did any of the testimony. And then what ends up happening? The law enforcement comes out and says exactly what I said was going to probably happen. How did I foresee that? Appeal to authority? No, because I've actually done this shit before and I know how law enforcement operations work. I've done protection details. I know how fucking cumbersome it could be working with 4 to 5 different other agencies. I know when you have 100 law enforcement officers on the ground, how difficult it is to relay information because everyone has their own communication system. So don't try to come in here with that stupid comment of appeal to authority as if this is a debate and we're on equal footing. We're not on equal footing, moron. I know what I'm talking about. You don't. So shut up. Appeal to authority assumes that me and you are on the same playing ground when we're having this discussion, and we're not. You're not the fucking expert. I am. And this is one field. This is my fucking wheelhouse. There's no one on YouTube that can give you guys a more thorough background and more explicit details when it comes to how federal law enforcement works, how the agencies work, agency missions, how to do investigations at a federal level, etc. No one comes fucking close. So yes, I will be talking shit to you because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The appeal to authority situation only applies if we're actually debating and we're on equal footing. And I'm here to tell you, we are not equal footing. You're just a random on the internet and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Probably working some random ass job that has nothing to do with law enforcement, zero experience. Shut the fuck up.
Needed medical attention. So it really, that particular, regarding the assailant, that never really rose to a level of we should not put him out there. Had we known that there was a dangerous individual out there, we would never let a protectee go out on stage.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Rowe, can you put your first poster, your first demonstrative back up?
Please.
Okay, this is going to be him going at it with Ted Cruz. And let me be clear about this too, guys. I've said it a million times that the Secret Service fucked up, okay? I said that from the rip. I said they fucked up. I was one of the first ones to say, even when they tried to say it was local law enforcement issue, I said, no, it's their issue because they're the ones that put them there. I was the first one to say that this is probably a radio and communication breakdown since they had him visualized for so long and they didn't get him. Everything I said came to fruition during the hearings. How is that? Well, maybe it's because I've done this shit before and I know. So literally almost everything I said came to fruition, whether it was the FBI and his phone, getting it in, why they sent it to the lab, what they found, what the people testified, whether it was on the FBI investigation or the Secret Service situation, who they need to bring in to ask questions to. Everything that I've said has pretty much come to fruition.
Put A up, please.
Let's make sure everybody can see it. This is the photograph, I believe, that you took, your team took of.
All right, so Josh Hawley and Ted have these exchanges with Rhodes. So this is where shit starts getting crazy. Before we get into this, because this is going to be the spicy part here. Thank you. Some of you guys know, because some of you guys heard me in the Twitter Spaces explaining this in even more intimate detail. And so shout out to all my witnesses in here that heard me on the Twitter Spaces saying this back July 14th, the day after. I predicted all this stuff already that's come out. Let's see here. Let me make sure. I'm not missing any chats here. Any of you guys have chats? Let me go ahead. Shout out to all you guys, by the way. Yo, guys, join Castle Club, castleclub.tv. We got almost 150 or so people watching on Castle Club. Shout out to all you guys. Got another 1,300 on Rumble, 2,200 on YouTube. Guys, do me a favor. We got only 1K likes on YouTube. Like the video, man, because we're about to get into the good part here where they're fighting. F1 said nobody loves being right more than Myron. No, just when it comes to this specific field, law enforcement, this is my shit. So, yes, I will absolutely call people out for being idiots and trying to be armchair Monday morning quarterbacks. I will call them out because they don't have any experience and they're talking like they do. Give me ones in a... sorry, guys. Like the video. We only got 1K likes, bro. We should be at 2,000 plus. I'm giving y'all some sauce right now.
The roof, the AGR roof. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so from this vantage point, as the law enforcement who are in those windows, as they look left, they should be able to see the shooter clearly there on the AGR second floor roof. My question is, why is there not a Secret Service counter sniper on that roof?
So, Senator, when we post up, our methodology is to look at things that can see in on our protectees so that they can provide that coverage.
But why is there not a Secret Service counter sniper there with clear line of sight? That roof has a clear line of sight to the former president. Why didn't you put a Secret Service counter sniper there?
This is a good question.
The Secret Service's counter sniper role is to neutralize those threats that are looking in on us from where the protectee is, not necessarily.
You think maybe you might want to revise that protocol in light of what happened here?
They were protecting the principal, and I think
the principal got shot.
Understand that, sir.
So do you think you might want to revise the protocol? Let me ask you this: who is the lead site agent?
He not even let him answer.
Who made the decision to leave?
Okay, so he's asking. So what did I tell you? Man, this nigga probably watches me, bro. This guy right here, he probably watches me because I've talked about this before. I said, if you want to know what happened, you need to figure out who the lead Secret Service person was on this detail. In every single protection detail, there's a head guy that runs that detail. It's probably going to be a GS-14 or GS-15. What do I mean by this? Either a first line or second line supervisor, supervisory special agent or assistant special agent in charge. That more than likely is on a Trump detail that runs everything, and the operation plan goes through him for signing. Okay? So he's asking right now for the lead agent's name, which, he's... Which, obviously he's on the sun here. I said this before. He's on to something. He might be watching Fed Reacts, bro, for him to get this. So, and I mentioned this on the Twitter Spaces as well a bunch of times, which a lot of politicians come in and they listen anonymously. So this is actually a good question here.
The AGR building completely outside of the security perimeter. Who was that?
Senator, I cannot give you that name. This person is operational. They're still doing investigations. They're still doing protective visits.
Have they been relieved of duty?
Senator, they have...
Okay, so he's asking if the case agent has been relieved of duty. I got something to say about this here. I'll let this exchange go a little bit, though.
I know their name, by the way. Why have they not been relieved of duty?
They are still cooperating, not only being interviewed by the FBI, but also by our Office of Professional Responsibility, and we will let the facts of the mission assurance and any further investigations play out.
Isn't the fact that a former president was shot, that a good American is dead, that other Americans were critically wounded, isn't that enough mission failure for you to say that the person who decided that that building should not be in the security perimeter probably ought to be stepped down?
Senator, I think you're using the word decided, and I think we need to allow the investigation play out to include.
So who did make the decision then? If it wasn't the lead site agent, who made the decision not to put that in the security perimeter?
Senator, you're zeroing in on one particular agent. I want to find out exactly what was the entire decision process. So I think I want to be neutral and make sure that we get to the bottom of it and interview everybody in order to determine if there was more than one person who perhaps exercised bad judgment.
Well, sure. My question is, why don't you relieve everybody of duty who made bad judgment? So yeah, you're right. I am zeroing in on somebody. I'm trying.
Okay, so this is. I'm going to be honest here. This is him. Trying to farm some clips, because the government doesn't work that way. Okay, you can't just sit here and be like, "Oh, I think that you fucked up, so I'm just gonna relieve you of duty." That's not how this works. That's why they have Office of Professional Responsibility, Office of Inspector General, etc. When shit like this happens, you have to conduct an internal investigation, and action can't be done until the investigation is done. Just so you guys know, we talked about this earlier. When there's an OPR investigation, they typically have about 6 months to do that internal investigation, okay? So these agents, right, that were involved in this detail, they're probably not going to be interviewed by OPR until damn near next year, January. Yep, January. So though I understand that, he's trying to posture here and look cool, etc., I don't know if this is him just trying to look cool or he just genuinely doesn't know. The Secret Service can't take action to start firing people right away like that without an independent investigation being done, okay? OPR has to finish their case. OIG's got to finish their case. Then decisions can be made, because you can't just fire people willy-nilly like that. Because if you do, guess what you open yourself up to? You open yourself up to lawsuits. And guess what happens with these lawsuits a lot of times? What'll happen is you just fire them for no reason. They get a lawyer. They sue you. They come back. Not only do they come back and get their job because the investigation wasn't completed, they go ahead and they get back pay, okay? It happens a lot. So it's very difficult to fire government employees. Why do you think they're so lazy? If I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, I'm someone that used to work for the government. It's very difficult to get fired as a government employee. You got to royally fuck up for it to happen, okay? So they're going to have to do their own independent investigation. OPR is going to take at least 6 months to gather everything, maybe even longer, before they bring in these agents that were involved in this situation and had any type of real decision-making authority. So I get it. Josh Hawley wants to look cool here, but bro, come on, man. That's not how the government works. You and I both know that. I don't know if you're posturing for the camera or you genuinely don't know. I'm going to err on the side of that you're smarter than that and you know. But you want to just, grill the fucking director of the Secret Service to get some clips. Cool. Which you're going to see Ted Cruz do the same thing here soon.
Trying to find somebody who's accountable here. And so you're telling me that the person...
And Josh Hawley, just a little background on this guy. Here he is. He is American politician and lawyer serving as a senior United States Senator from Missouri. He's a Republican. He came in January 3rd, 2019. He's serving with Eric Schmidt. So he's the other... Excuse me. Here's the other guy. So let's go back.
Who made the decision not to include this in the perimeter has not been relieved of duty. What about the person who's in charge of the interoperability of radio frequencies between local law enforcement and secret?
Oh, so he was the former Attorney General for Missouri as well. So he was the top law enforcement officer for the state of Missouri. Remember I talked about the Attorney General for the United States? He was the Attorney General for the state of Missouri.
Service. Has that person been relieved of duty?
No, Senator, because interoperability is a challenge, is a greater challenge than just one person. On that day, we had a counterpart system. It failed.
As the person who made the decision to send Donald Trump on the stage knowing that you had a security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir, they haven't.
Has the person who decided not to pull the former president off of stage when you knew that...
See, this is just clip farming here. Let's just keep it 1,000 here. He come on. You know they're not going to get fired this quickly after the event, bro. There's got to be an investigation done. You can't just fire people willy-nilly like that.
in your work, the locals were working a serious security situation. Has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir. Again, I refer you back to my original answer that we are investigating this through a mission assurance, and as opposed to zeroing in on one
What more do
or
you need
two
to
individuals,
investigate
we
to
want find
know?
out exactly what the
What more do you
decision-making
need to
process
investigate
was.
to know that there were critical enough failures that some individuals ought to be held accountable? I mean, what more do you need to know?
What I need to know is exactly what happened, and I need my investigators to do their job, and I
people
cannot,
didn't do their jobs.
put my thumb on the scale. Otherwise,
What do you mean put your thumb
the
on the scale?
objective, you're asking me, Senator, to completely make a rush to judgment about somebody failing. I acknowledge this was a failure of the
Is it
Secret
not prima
Service.
facie that somebody has failed? A former president was shot.
Sir,
And also keep in mind, guys, the Office of Professional Responsibility and the Office of Inspector General, OPR, OIG, don't necessarily answer to this guy. So he doesn't really have the authority. I don't know why he's not saying this. He probably doesn't want to come off as weak or not, whatever. He's just got to take the heat. But the reality is that he doesn't really have as much leeway in the firing of people as the senator is saying here, because we got independent investigations being done by other agencies, and they can't really make an executive decision unless the investigation is done. Matter of fact, if I don't know how Secret Service does it, but I'm going to assume that it's very similar to HSI. It's going to be the special agent in charge actually that makes a final decision once the investigation is done. All right, so I don't even think he's involved in the firing process. It's going to be the special agent in charge after the OPR investigation is finished. So, again, not the right person to ask here.
This could have been our Texas School Book Depository. I have lost sleep over that for the last 17 days,
Then
just like you
fire
have.
somebody.
Texas School Depository, for those that are wondering, that is where Oswald fired the shots that killed Kennedy. That's what he's talking about. Allegedly, by the way, that Oswald shot Kennedy. We know who really shot him, but for the purposes of this podcast and the purposes of, this guy saying that, how far was Oswald? Because the public narrative is that Oswald was the shooter and the lone shooter.
And I will tell you, Senator, that I will not rush to judgment, that people will be held accountable, and I will do so with integrity and not rush to judgment and put people
I can't believe
unfairly
that you
persecuted.
are unfairly persecuted.
Unfairly,
people
sir.
who are
We
dead.
have to be able to have a proper investigation into this, Senator.
You said earlier that you've got to make sure that your protocols are followed, and unless there's a protocol violation, people wouldn't be disciplined. I would just say to you, I don't really care that much about your protocols. I think if your protocol...
There you go. and it reveals itself. I don't care about your protocols. Sorry, Hawley. I mean, they got a way to do this. You want people fired. There's a system that's got to be put in place to make it actually happen. Obviously they're going to go back to the code of conduct, etc. with OPR. They're doing their case. You can't just fire people willy-nilly, man. I know it sounds good. It looks good for the camera for you to be grilling the Secret Service director, etc., but it's not going to happen, my friend. The investigation's got to be completed before any of that can be done. And this is what I mean when I say a lot of these senators and Congress people that grill these people during these testimonies. It's clip farming, bro. I'm just keeping it 1,000 for you guys. Like, they're just giving the American people what they want. They're grilling these public officials. Like, people will enjoy watching this shit, right? They got to get views too, guys. Come on, let's be out of here.
Don't provide for the fact that when a former president is shot, when an American is killed, when other rally-goers, innocent people who just showed up on the day, when they are shot at and critically wounded, if that isn't a protocol violation prima facie, you should revise your protocols.
Senator, I think this is where you and I agree. This was a failure, and we will get to the bottom of it.
Well, I hope you're going to do something about it.
Mr. Rowe, thank you for being here. I agree.
Okay, now we're going to go on to Ted Cruz. Okay. You guys can see the heat exchange. No, OPR can't fire people, guys. OPR does the investigation, and they give their findings to the deciding official. Okay, which most of the time, okay, is going to be the special agent in charge of the field office. Okay? Give me ones in the chat if you guys want me to explain the hierarchy of special agent in charge and all that other crap. If you guys give me ones or twos if you guys want me to keep going. I've explained it many times before, but if you guys want me to, I can do it again. Ones if you guys want me to explain that, twos if you guys want me to keep going here. Okay, cool. I see a lot of twos. Sweet. All right, we'll keep pushing. So you guys understand what the special agent charge is. That's typically the deciding official for many agencies. Okay, so OPR does their case. They turn it over to the SAC. SAC makes a decision.
Agree with what you said at the outset, that the individual Secret Service agents demonstrated remarkable personal courage, putting their bodies in between the line of sight of the shooter and the president.
Hey, is 1.5 speed good for you guys, by the way? Give me ones if 1.5 speed is good. Give me twos if 1.25 you guys want me to lower the speed. Because obviously now that they're getting arguing here, you guys might want a little bit slower. Ones if we keep it at 1.5, two if you guys want me to go 1.2. 1.5, two if you want 1.25. All right, cool. It's good. It's not too fast for you guys to track. All right. Also, just so you guys know, we only got 1.1K likes, but we got 2,200 plus y'all ninjas in here. Guys, let's get this thing to 2,000 likes, all right? 2,000 likes. I really don't want to stop the show, okay? I really don't. I want to keep breaking this down with you guys. But I need to get to 2,000 likes, goddammit. like the video, all right? It already sucks enough that I'm splitting the audience between all these different platforms. We're live on X right now. We're live on Rumble. We're live on Castle Club. Yo, if I just streamed only on YouTube, this channel would blow up. But I stream on all the platforms, which kind of hurts me in the long run. So all I ask is that you guys open up a tab, like this on YouTube, because YouTube is how we find new people, right? It's fucking necessary evil. So just like the video, guys. That's all I ask. I'm streaming this on all the other platforms. It's okay. It hurts me in the viewership, but it's fine because I want you guys to be able to all enjoy the content regardless of what platform you're on. Hell, we're even on Twitch right now. You know, we don't really post on Twitch like that, but I'm even on Twitch. So just open up a tab, like the video, okay? One of the homies came in from Couch Club. Shout out to you guys, okay? And let's hit 2,000 likes. All right, now we're going to move on to Ted Cruz, which, yeah, Ted Cruz.
That being said, the bravery of the line agents is quite different from the decisions of Secret Service leadership. Secret Service leadership committed catastrophic security failures, indeed the worst security failures for the Secret Service since 1981, since the attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. It is incumbent upon this committee to determine why those security failures happened. Just after the shooting, Secret Service put out an official statement from your spokesperson that says there's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities.
All right, this is from Anthony Guglielmi, and this is him on X. I'm telling you guys, all the politicians are on X. He has the gray check. That means a government official. There's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources, technology, and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Let me go ahead and pull up this guy's Twitter so we can get this thing up ourselves. Hold on 1 second, guys. Anthony Guglielmi. That's super Italian. He's a chief of communications for Secret Service. Here's his... Nope, that's not it. Twitter. I think this is... What the hell? Oh. Okay, here he is. Here's his X, right? Account. Let me make this bigger for you ninjas. 30K followers. Let's go pull up. Boom, boom, boom. Where we at here? And this is like his, obviously, okay, here it is, boom. There's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security. Here, let me make this a bit bigger for you ninjas. Resource and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resource technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. This has now been confirmed false. The USSS has now confirmed they did not, in fact, receive requests for additional resources on former President Trump detail, which were denied. Okay, so this is a community notes context here, right? So, which is a feature that they have here on Twitter. So, let's go back to the testimony. And this has how many views is that now? 5.9 million views. See what the top comment is. Oh shit, Laura Loomer is the top one. 5K likes. Did she ratio him? Yeah, no. Well, yeah, maybe she did actually. Y'all shooter let it climb. Y'all let a shooter climb onto a roof with a rifle less than 150 meters from President Trump. Y'all let that shooter fire multiple shots at Trump, hitting him in the head, killing a Trump supporter and wounding others. Resign in, shame clown. And then Don Bongino comes up, resign today, resign. Holy, I already knew they were going to start cooking. So, yeah. Let's keep going.
Abilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Was this tweet accurate?
With respect to Butler, Pennsylvania, it is accurate, sir.
It is accurate that the Trump team had not asked for additional security and had not been rebuffed.
If you're talking about Butler, Pennsylvania, all assets requested were approved. If you're talking about the media reporting of assets requested, there were times when assets were unavailable and not able to be filled, and those gaps were staffed with state and local law enforcement tactical assets.
So I'm reading from the Washington Post, July 20th, 2024. Secret Service said to have denied requests for more security at Trump events. The opening paragraph. Top officials of the U.S. Secret Service repeatedly denied requests for additional resources and personnel sought by Donald Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to his attempted assassination, according to 4 people familiar with the requests. Is that right, that repeatedly the Trump detail asked for more resources and repeatedly Secret Service leadership turned that down?
That is not accurate, Senator. Assets are requested. There's a process that is made. And
how many requests did the Trump team or the Trump detail ask for?
I can get you that number in a queue.
You don't know now.
So I can speak to the ones that reported in the Washington Post, and we can go through them if you like.
But you don't know how many requests there were.
In general, how many requests since 2021 that the former Trump detail has made a request for assets?
You've had 2 weeks. You had a spokesperson put something out that is false.
All right, so, and you guys are probably wondering, like, hey, just answer the question, etc. He's trying to clarify when, like, for what purpose did he want the extra detail for Butler? Is it for when he was going to court? Because you guys know Trump is not an easy protectee, right? He obviously travels everywhere. He has homes in multiple places. He spends a lot of time in Florida, New Jersey, New York. Obviously, Washington, D.C. when he lived there. So he's not the easiest protectee. And then right now he's campaigning, so he's going all over the place. Then you add on top of that, has all these court appearances, etc. I could only imagine how much of a nightmare that is for Secret Service, coordinating with like getting him into the jail so that he could go in and get processed, etc. So I think what the Secret Service director right now is trying to establish is when he asks for extra detail, when, right? Let's rewind this a little bit.
And personnel sought by Donald Trump just after the shooting. Secret Service put out an official statement from your spokesperson that says there's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources, and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Was this tweet accurate?
With respect to Butler, Pennsylvania, it is accurate, sir.
It is accurate.
Okay, so notice how he specifies. With Butler, it's accurate. But now they're opening up the discussion to other requests for other details on other events, which this is where it gets tricky, guys. Okay? Got to listen very closely.
That the Trump team had not asked for additional security and had not been rebuffed.
If you're talking about Butler, Pennsylvania, all assets requested were approved. If you're talking about the media reporting of assets requested, there were times when assets were unavailable and not able to be filled, and those gaps were staffed with state and local law enforcement tactical assets.
So I'm reading from the Washington Post, July 20th, 2024. Secret Service said to have denied requests.
And that comes back to what I told you guys before. Secret Service is heavily understaffed. They can't keep their agents. I've told you, I called this from before, guys, when this first happened.
For more security at Trump events. The opening paragraph. Top officials of the U.S. Secret Service.
Yeah, Tone Lope. I know he's the acting director, but I know he hasn't been approved yet. But yes, he's the acting director now. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying the director right now because for brevity reasons, right? A lot of people aren't aware of the whole acting and whole that thing in the government. So I'm just making it simple for the people.
Repeatedly denied requests for additional resources and personnel sought by Donald Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to his attempted assassination. According to 4 people familiar with the request.
Okay, so now he's opening it up. He's saying, hey, request for Trump's increased detail in the 2 years leading up to his assassination. So now we're broadening it a bit, right?
Wes, is that right, that repeatedly the Trump detail asked for more resources and repeatedly Secret Service leadership turned that down?
That is not accurate, Senator. Assets are requested. There's a process that is made. And
how many requests did the Trump team or the Trump detail ask for?
I can get you that number in a queue.
You don't know now.
So I can speak to the ones that reported.
Well, yeah, he's not going to know right now because you're asking for a 2-year span of every time that he asked for, he might have asked for increased resources. You're not going to know that. And then also, like I said before, guys, someone like Trump is a very difficult protectee. The guy's he's going to court all the time. He's going to jail. He's got to process himself here. He's got to travel here. He has multiple homes, etc. He's not a typical protectee that the Secret Service would deal with. So someone like him, right, is going to probably make a bunch of requests, etc. This guy's under oath. He doesn't want to necessarily say the wrong thing. So that's what it comes down to. And for anybody in here saying, Myron, Fed talk, back to blue. I'm just giving you guys the reality of I'm putting myself in his shoes because I used to be in this line of work. That's why he can't really answer it because you're asking him to give you 2 years of requests of potential detail enhancements, right, to an individual like Trump, right, who travels everywhere and has a very, high demand for security because he's always traveling all over the place, okay? I've done protection details before, so I understand where he's coming from here. Now, when it comes to Butler, he's saying that they gave him what they needed on Butler. But as far as like the 2 years leading up to it, that's going to be hard to assess. He's going to have to go back and look through all the paperwork, look through every single document that came through that said, we request this much. Because remember, guys, the way the government works is, let me explain this. So when you have a formal request, right, you want something to happen. Let's say I'm the case agent, right? And I say, I need $10,000 to get for travel for me and 5 other agents to to California to do an operation, right? Me as the case agent, I got to write a memorandum, and then I got to pass it to my supervisor. It goes to the assistant special agent in charge. It goes to the deputy special agent in charge. Then it goes to the special agent in charge. Then it goes to headquarters, right? Then at headquarters, it goes up the chain, and then it finally gets approved, signed by the director, and then they kick it down, okay? So you have to go through like 10 chains of command to get your process requested. So, of course, he's not going to know that because, remember, he's a director. So many presidents have security details where they're saying, hey, I need more people, I need less people, whatever the fuck it may be. So it's not going to be easy for him to remember within 2 years Trump's requests for security details, etc. So he's not going to know that off the top of his head, guys. All right, being fairly objective here and being honest, he's just not going to know. So, yeah. Tone Lope, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, saying some stupid shit. You're 2 weeks behind this information. Shut up. How the fuck am I 2 weeks behind this when this hearing was literally just this week? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Saying I'm 2 weeks. This literally happened a couple of days ago, this hearing. So shut up. Some of y'all are idiots, man, in here. But yeah, you guys are right. It is a bureaucracy. You know what I mean? It is a bureaucracy. And that's the thing. It has to go through the chain of command. So that's why it's a pain in the ass. But let's keep going here.
In the Washington Post, and we can go through them if you like.
But you don't know how many requests there were.
In general, how many requests since 2021 that the former Trump detail has made a request for assets?
You've had 2
So
weeks.
he's clarifying. So he's not sure what he, like.
You had a spokesperson put something out that is false on its face. By the way, did you approve the statement when it went out?
I don't know if I did or didn't, Senator.
Has this spokesperson, is he still employed? Does he still have a job?
He is still employed, Senator.
So he lied on behalf of the Secret Service. He still has a job. Did your predecessor, the former director, did she approve the statement?
Senator, our comms team, they send out statements. They do deconflict them and they put them out.
Did she approve the statement?
I don't know if she did or did not, Senator.
And you don't know if you did either?
I don't recall approving it, Senator.
Will you commit to provide this committee in writing every written request for additional resources from the Trump campaign or the Trump detail and every response from Secret Service?
Senator, I will commit to providing responses and getting you the information that you...
You guys are claiming Bongino said something. How about this? Drop the link in here. We'll react to it. Drop the link in here and give me the specific timestamp where he said what you guys are saying, and I'll go ahead and react to it and let you guys know of what you guys are claiming. I'm willing to hear it out. Go ahead and drop the name of the video or whatever. I'll pull it up on Rumble and we'll go through it.
You are seeking.
Let me ask you something. And who makes the decision to deny those requests? Did you make that decision?
Which requests? Are you talking about the ones that were in the Washington Post?
Yes.
The process, sir, is that a detail will make a request for either staffing, technical assets, that is handled between the field office and the detail. It goes up to a logistics office between our...
Okay, so there's a bureaucracy. Is there a decision maker?
It's not a bureaucracy, Senator.
Give me the person that's a decision maker. Is there one?
Senator, it's a conversation. It's not just an absolute yay or nay.
So let me tell you what I believe. I believe that the Secret Service leadership made a political decision to deny these requests. And I think the Biden administration has been suffused with partisan politics. Did the same person who denied the request for additional security to President Trump also repeatedly deny the request for security to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose father was murdered by an assassin and whose uncle was murdered by an assassin? Did the same person make that decision?
Senator, what I will tell...
Come on, bro. This is just theatrics now at this point. Guys, John F. Kennedy was killed in 1963, all right? And his brother was killed, I think, in 1968, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I got my dates right. John F. Kennedy was killed on November 22nd, 1963, and RFK, if I'm not mistaken, was killed June 8th, 1968. RFK, hold on, let's see how good I am with this. June 6th, 1968, so I was 2 days off, right? So RFK was killed June 6th, 1968, and then JFK was killed, obviously, November 22nd, 1963. Boom. So I'm on the point, right? Bro, Ted, how the hell are bro, that doesn't even make sense. You're telling me what, 50 years later, the guy's going to make the decision and be like, you know what? I want RFK and JFK gone, so I want Trump gone too. I'm going to make the decision I give Secret Service. Come on, man. Ted Cruz, man, you're reaching now, bro. I'm all for keeping these people accountable. Trust me. You know, guys, I've been very critical of Secret Service, but I'm fair down the middle of the road. Like, we got to be able to look at this objectively, and we got to be able to look at it from both perspectives. Secret Service fucked up. I've roasted them, but I'm also going to roast senators like Ted Cruz that are in here to try to clip farm. Nigga, how you going to sit there and say, is it the same person that decided that RFK and JFK didn't get security detail? Or is that the same person? Like, bro, that person's fucking dead. The director of the Secret Service back in the 1960s is probably dead and gone by now, bro. What the fuck? Come on, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Sometimes these senators and these Congress people that do these hearings are just trying to get some clips, bro. Let's rewind that a little bit.
Whose father was murdered by an assassin and whose uncle was murdered by an assassin. Did the same person make that decision?
Senator, what I will tell you is that Secret Service agents are not political.
Did the same person make that decision? Bro, who was the Secret Service fucking director back then, bro? Come on, man. In the 1960s. Come on, Ted. Come on, Ted.
You're not answering my question. But you know what? Leadership appointed by the president. Leadership appointed by the president is political. I have a simple question: yes or no? Did the same person deny the Trump request that also denied the RFK request? That's a yes or no question.
Senator, that is not a yes or no question. One, there was a process for a candidate nominee to receive protection.
Does the buck stop anywhere? Does the buck stop anywhere?
Bipartisan process. That the Hill
it's a bicameral, bipartisan process. What camera?
For a candidate,
you are not Congress. You don't have a camera.
Mr. Kennedy submitted a request that was referred over to the CPAC.
Okay, you're refusing to answer the question. Let me ask this, because the failures on that day were catastrophic. By the way, is it true that on the day of the Butler event that Secret Service transferred agent from President Trump?
Whenever they don't let them fully answer, you know that they're clip farming, by the way. FYI, guys. If they don't let them fully answer, they're just letting them clip farm.
Trump to the First Lady?
No, sir, that's not true.
That's been widely reported.
It's not true. There was one airport agent that actually went on the manpower request for the Trump detail. They handled the arrival at the airport.
What was the relative size of the Trump detail compared to the detail that is assigned to the President and the First Lady?
Senator, the former president travels with a full shift, just like the president.
So the exact same size? Is that your testimony, that President Trump had the same size detail that President Biden has?
On the day of in Butler, the agents surrounding him, it is the same number of agents surrounding the president today. There is a difference between a sitting president who also not only
Hold on, you're using... Which I told you guys this before. A sitting president has a different level of security as a former president.
President, in a way that is not clear. Is it your testimony that in Butler, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump had the same number of agents protecting him that Joe Biden has at a comparable event?
I'm telling you the shift, the close protection shift surrounding. That's what you asked me, Senator, and I'm trying to answer it.
You are not answering it. Is it the same number of agents or not?
Senator, there is a difference between the sitting president of the United States.
Then what's the difference?
The difference?
2x, 3x, 5x,
National
10x?
Command Authority to launch a nuclear strike. Sir, there are other assets
how many more
travel
agents?
with the president that the former president will not get. But the number of Secret Service agents protecting him.
All right, so there you go. So he answers it basically like, yo, it's different. Like you get the same amount of agents, but obviously not the same level of protection. It's different. And Ted isn't letting him distinguish that because, like I said before, he's here to clip farm, which is fine. It is what it is. But you know what? You know someone is being disingenuous when you say ridiculous things like, "Was the same person that was behind JFK and RFK being killed? Did he make this decision too on Trump?" It's like, bruh, that dude's dead and gone by now. It's the 1960s, man. It's 2024. What are you talking about?
Stop interrupting me.
Go ahead,
You
Senator.
are refusing to answer clear and direct questions. I am asking the relative difference in the number of agents between those assigned to Donald Trump and those assigned to Joe Biden. I'm not asking why you assign more to Joe Biden. I'm asking, is the difference, is it 2x? Is it 3x? Is it 5x? Is it 10x?
Senator, I will get you that number so you can see it with your own eyes.
Is there any doubt in your mind or in the collective mind of the FBI that President Trump was shot in the ear by a bullet fired by the assassin Crooks?
Senator, there's...
Because there was speculation that the glass shard hit him in the ear from the shooting. Which, by the way, go ahead and give me that Bongino clip that you guys were talking about. Like you guys over here in Rumble, what's this guy's name? Tone Lope, whatever the fuck. Go ahead and give me the clip, bro. Put it in here. Don't troll. Put the fucking clip in here. We'll go through and I'll actually go through and look at the clip. I'm totally down to look at another perspective. I'm not a hater here. Drop it in here, bro. If you want to sit here and say you're 2 weeks late, even though this testimony literally was like 5 days ago. It was literally this week. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about saying I'm 2 weeks late when this just came out. But okay.
Absolutely no doubt in the FBI's mind whether former President Trump was hit with a bullet and wounded in the ear. No doubt, there never has been.
Okay.
I've been part of this investigation since the very beginning, and that has never been raised.
You're sure?
Yes.
It wasn't a space laser.
No.
It wasn't a murder hornet.
Absolutely not.
It wasn't Sasquatch.
No, Senator.
It was a bullet.
It was a bullet, Senator. 100%.
Fired by Crooks.
Yes, sir.
That hit President Trump in the ear and almost killed him.
100%, Senator.
Okay, glad we cleared that up.
And I want to thank our witnesses for your testimony here today. Certainly what happened on July 13th could and should have been prevented from what I have heard today. I'm certainly grateful to our witnesses for their candid answers and for helping to provide additional clarity and new information about the circumstances surrounding this attack. Acting Director Rowe, some of what you have said today conflicts with information and accounts that we have received from local law enforcement that we've had the opportunity to talk with. They have been voluntarily and I will say expeditiously cooperating with our bipartisan investigation, which we certainly appreciate. But we now need to speak with Secret Service agents directly, who are directly involved, and I would say that you need to make them available. All
right, so there you go. Now they're going to, which they should have done this from the beginning, to be honest. They're going to make the agents available that were involved. You got someone is saying here, the clip is in Dan's Wednesday Rumble show, Myron. What's the title of it?
As soon as possible. Those interviews can't start weeks from now or months from now. Time is of the essence when memories are fresh and you can get the information that is most important to us. So my question for you as we wrap up this hearing, Acting Director Rowe, will you commit to having those agents available for this committee to interview as soon as possible in a matter of days, not weeks, a matter of days?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
All right, so we're going to actually have the agents that were there answer questions, this is going to be pretty fucking, it might be this week actually, now that you mention it. So it might be this week. All right. So that covers, guys, the testimony between the acting director Rowe and obviously the FBI Deputy Director. Let's see here. So that's going to be very interesting to see that testimony. All right, Tone Love, if you're a Castle Club sub, then post it, bro. I've been asking you to post it for whatever, for like literally 10 minutes now, dude. Off topic, Myron, can you explain this? Prisoner swap? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Razor390 says, 100% an example of Swiss cheese model of risk human error. A lot of security theater that backfired because of complacency. For all the idiots, this was also small rural town with even less resources than from feds available. Not a big city here, metropolitan area. Yeah, Razor, I know. See, bro, you're using some critical thinking skills here. Yeah, they had to rely a lot on this on the staying locals, man, and that fucked them up. That's why they should have put more agents out there, right? Because when you rely on the staying locals a lot of times, like I said before, it could create problems because they just don't have the same mission guidelines that you do. Which, by the way, guys, we only got 1.4K likes. We should be at 2,000 likes, goddammit. All right, 1.4K, guys, hit 2,000. Let's hit 2,000 here. We got, how many of y'all watching? We got almost 2,000 of you guys watching right now. 1,500 on Rumble. Open up another tab, watching on Rumble. When you guys say prisoner exchange, what prisoner exchange are you guys talking about? Which prisoner exchange? Tone Love said he posted on Rumble twice. Okay, let's go ahead here. Let me look at this. Let me find this Bongino video that you guys were talking about. What's the time? Start at 5:55. Let me see here. Let me go. Let me pull up this video real quick because you guys want me to react to this. So I'll do that. Go ahead. Give me 1 sec. I'm going on Rumble right now. Pulling it up. This is episode 2295, 555. All right, let's see here. Okay, so let me go ahead and screen share this. Okay, this is Don Bongino. I actually met him at the RNC, nice guy. He's former Secret Service. Hold on, is this shit muted? Okay, there we go.
This is really upsetting, man. Nothing is going to change if we keep doing the same things over again. You're going to get someone else hurt. Take a listen.
We were briefed by Acting Director Ron Rowe, as well as an FBI briefer, and is quite honestly a confidence-building briefing. They were pretty forthright. You could tell that Acting Director Rowe is viscerally concerned about what happened to his agency there, and he wants to correct it. He said he can't defend what happened in Pennsylvania. He went there yesterday. So I was actually pretty encouraged by what we heard in our briefing, and we're going to have a hearing on Tuesday in Homeland Security and Government Affairs. So hopefully it'll be very transparent with the American public, as genuine and forthright as he was in the briefing this morning.
He's very concerned and forthright. Guys, listen, this is not personal. I've known this guy a long time. I'm sure he's a good dad and whatever. I don't know. Really, I'm just telling you, this guy was part of the denials, the multiple denials to the Donald Trump detail for enhanced security that I'm telling you led to the series of events that led to this debacle with Donald Trump coming within a millimeter of his life. He was candid. Of course he's trying to be candid. He's trying to basically ingratiate himself to people so that nobody actually asks him real questions. This is so unacceptable, folks. I'm at the, as you can probably tell on this Friday, I woke up today in the best of moods, and I'm really getting salty because it's like government is the one place on planet Earth where you can F something up so bad that a dude is nearly, people are shot. This Corey Comparator, this hero is killed, and Donald Trump is shot in the ear, and one of the guys who was part of the chain of command gets a promotion out of it, and then we're selling this guy. It's like, hey, man, he did a great job. I mean, just call me. And to those who have, I promise I will give you an independent evaluation of what's going on. This is sickening. Here's Josh Hawley yesterday, a Republican senator from Missouri. New. A whistleblower is telling me that local law enforcement partners and suppliers offered drones to the Secret Service before the rally, but the Secret Service declined. Folks, what I don't know, I don't know. I'm going to tell you I haven't heard this. I'm not telling you it's not accurate at all. Please, I'm not telling you what he's saying isn't accurate. I'm not even a little bit. I'm just telling you that piece of information is out there. I'm trying to independently confirm it, because if that's the case, now you've got a real debacle on your hands. And I want to tell you a quick story as to why this feeds into the biggest problem the Secret Service has right now, and it's arrogance amongst management. It's arrogance. When I was over there, I used to be the whip in transportation, the motorcade section, the TS section, okay? That's the operational 13 who pretty much runs the section, okay?
Yeah, the operational 13 is going to be like a non-management position, so you got a supervisor over you. So what that tells me that maybe his detail, there were a bunch of 14s, which means supervisors?
You're running it. So there was this guy that came in one time. It's a long time ago. Details really don't matter. But he came in with this really, really amazing technology that would be able to basically use GPS when it was in its early days.
Real quick, started listening to FNF a little over a year ago. I can truly thank Myron for helping me understand my man. I'm 29 now. I'm engaged and pregnant and might not have made it here without your guidance. Shout out to you. We deserve less. You got it, man. I got you.
GPS. It was back.
Shout out. It's great when women watch the show and learn.
Then it was a big deal. People still had Garmins in their car before Google Maps and Apple Maps and Waze and all that stuff. Some of you may be too young to remember. Remember the little square Garmin you stuck in your car? Make a left. This guy had this amazing technology. They threw this guy out of the building within 5 minutes. They didn't want to hear about it. The attitude amongst the managers in the meeting was like, hey, listen, just because we didn't think of it first, it doesn't matter. I couldn't believe it. I remember saying to my boss, you don't even want to hear this guy out? If the locals, and I have no reason to believe Josh Hawley is, and his whistleblower are lying. No reason to believe that at all. Offered drones for aerial surveillance and the Secret Service turned it down, then you better produce a damn good reason why. It's a huge revelation. I'm working to independently confirm it because there's a lot of information coming from both sides. But it's this that drives me crazy. And I want to say in advance, one of the things about this show, and one of the things I'm most proud of, is I don't eliminate someone's point of view because we disagree on certain things. I disagree with certain people. Even President Trump and I don't agree on everything. Criminal justice reform, abortion, but 80% for me is a pretty good mark.
So real quick, what's the purpose of this clip here? Because he's basically saying that they denied him requests in the 2 years prior, which again, but Roe didn't confirm or deny that because it's 2 years. So he's got to go back and look, obviously. But more than likely, they probably did deny to some degree certain requests. But with Butler, obviously they gave him what they wanted. That's what he testified to, at least. We won't know until the full investigation is done, because like I said before, there's another agency doing that investigation. But what are you trying to say? Like, what are you trying to say here, Tony? I don't understand like he's not really saying anything too different from what I'm saying, because we don't know in the 2 years. He's got to go back and look at the records, which he probably did deny. In 2 years, I guarantee you, he probably said, nah, it's a request here or there. Yeah, for sure.
Marker. We believe in 80% of the same thing. You're my guy, okay? We're never going to agree on everything. Or else you're just doing a Kamala Harris and you're pandering.
So I don't know what the hell this Tone Loeb guy is trying to, like, bro, what's your criticism here then? You're saying the same shit.
Nobody's going to agree with you on everything, or else they'd be you, and they're not you. I don't agree with Peggy Noonan on a lot, but I enjoy your right.
The clip is to show that the rogue guy was behind denying of the support. Well, here's the thing, bro. He's in the chain of command. It's obviously going to be Cheeto that is the final decision maker, not necessarily him. And He didn't get promoted, guys. Okay, so the way the government works is anytime you are the deputy director or you're second in charge, if someone above you leaves or takes low position, etc., you automatically get put to that position. You're automatically the acting now. So it's not really a promotion because your pay doesn't change. And you're acting director. It doesn't mean you are the director. So it's not really a promotion. And again, like you guys were saying, hey, Roe was the guy that denied the resources. Again, had to go up the chain of command because Cheadle was the one that was director the whole time. So you could say that he might have been involved, but at the end of the day, Roe is not the final decision maker. Cheadle was. So, yeah.
Writing at the Wall Street Journal.
So, Tone Love, you could say that, but the director is the one that has the final say, not the deputy director.
Definitely no Trump person. We know that. You know, and she gives a lot of deference to the left, which I don't particularly like, but I enjoy her writing. And I read it. I have never seen her be more wrong about something than this. And Peggy, with due respect, if you're listening, you've been around a long time, I acknowledge that. This isn't personal. You are absolutely wrong, and you are way out of your lane on this. She wrote a piece last night. Her writing gets picked up all over the place. She's been around a long time. The piece is this, the Kamala Harris surprise. She said something in the piece that I'm telling you is going to get someone killed, and you need to listen to me. Please.
All right, I think we played enough of this here. Again, I don't think it said anything different. Roe, I know you guys are trying to say that Roe is the one that's directly the one that denied the detail. More than likely, it wasn't Roe. It was probably Cheadle that made the final decision because Cheadle was the director. This guy was the deputy director, second in command. So that's number one. And then you said that he got promoted. Again, being put from getting put from deputy director to acting director isn't a promotion. They put you there because you're the next in line. And they have to put a director in place. It needs to be filled. So then you will be put in as acting. Acting doesn't mean that you actually got the position, guys. All right. So DeBiddy, you're wrong. So it's not Roe that denied the resources. It's going to be more than likely Cheadle because Cheadle is the one that was the director. And then this guy Roe didn't actually get promoted. He got put as director because she resigned suddenly. So they had to put an acting director. Dan reported this July 26th. She said she never denied any request during a hearing. No, Tone. She was very unclear about what request specifically when she was saying we never denied. Remember, guys, there's two situations here. We got the rally on Butler, and then we got the years after he left the office. Okay? There's two different questions here as to what was his Secret Service detail. All right? And that's the problem with Cheadle is that she wasn't transparent about that. She couldn't really answer the questions. So that's what I'm trying to say here. All right, but anyway, this is a talk on the minutia details that aren't really that.
She says, "Stop obsessing."
The overall thing, because this was a monumental failure by Secret Service, regardless of what you want to say. They're all responsible, but like I said before, the director is going to be the main person, and Roe was not the main director at the time. Cheadle directly answered under oath that she never denied resources. Roe directly denied. No, he said, no, see, that's the thing. See, some of you guys don't listen to this closely. He literally said, on Butler, I didn't deny, but on before, he didn't answer that. Do I got to play the fucking clip? Some of y'all don't listen, bro. Do I literally got to play the clip again? Tone, you're just listening to what you want to listen to, bro. Like, do I got to play the clip again? Bruh. See, people just want to hear what they want to hear, man.
There are times when assets were unavailable and not able. Pennsylvania, it is accurate, sir.
A member of the former president's team requested additional security resources, and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Was this tweet accurate?
With respect to Butler, Pennsylvania, it is accurate, sir.
Okay, so he specifies. In Butler, we gave them everything they needed. Boom.
It is accurate that the Trump team had not asked for additional security and had not been rebuffed.
If you're talking about Butler, Pennsylvania, all assets requested were approved. If you're talking about the media reporting of assets requested, there were times when assets were...
So Butler, they're saying they gave everything. That's what he said under oath.
unavailable and not able to be filled, and those gaps were staffed with state and local law enforcement tactical assets.
So I'm reading from the Washington Post, July 20th, 2024. Secret Service said to have denied requests for more security at Trump events. The opening paragraph. Top officials of the U.S. Secret Service repeatedly denied requests for additional resources and personnel sought by Donald Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to his attempted assassination.
Okay, so now the scope of the question is different. In the 2 years leading up, denied. That's going to be different, guys. He's going to have to go back and look at all the records and all the memorandums that went up the chain. Like I told y'all before, I explained to you the bureaucracy. Okay?
According to 4 people familiar with the requests. Is that right, that repeatedly the Trump detail asked for more resources and repeatedly Secret Service leadership turned that down?
That is not accurate, Senator. Assets are requested. There's a process that is made. And
how many requests did the Trump team or the Trump detail ask for?
I can get you that number in a queue.
You don't know now.
So I can speak to the ones that reported in the Washington Post, and we can go through them if you like.
But you don't know how many requests there were.
In general, how many requests since 2021 that the former Trump detail has made a request for assets?
He's not going to know that offhand. And he said that he'll go ahead and talk about the one that Washington Post, but Ted doesn't want to have a conversation about that. So, again, when it's stuff like this, guys, over 2-3 years or whatever, this very specific questions, you're under oath, like, yeah, you're going to be reluctant to answer questions, obviously, because you don't want to fucking lie. You want to make sure that you're being as accurate as possible. So, and Ted didn't really let him answer. I'm being fair here, guys. Look, Secret Service fucked up? Yeah. But if you're going to ask a broad question like that, hey, in the 2 years leading up to this debacle, did you guys deny security? More than likely, there probably is a denial in there somewhere, but you don't know 100% because, again, he's not the director. Cheeto's the director. It might have went through the chain of command, but he might not remember. So, again, you got to actually have the records in front of you. That's what it is, guys. All right? So, yeah. But we'll see what happens. I think we're going to get some more answers once we get the actual agents in here that were involved in the situation, and we can go from there. Let's see here. Again, I'm not being biased here. I'm being very objective. I'm looking at it from both perspectives here, guys. Let's see. Do we have any other chats? I want to make sure that we're good before we close this thing out. Guys, any last second questions you guys got? Get them in right now. We're going to wrap this thing up here in a second. Hold on one sec. I don't know why. Looking through the Couch Club. Also, while we're waiting for this real quick, guys, jump on the yacht party. Okay, we are going to be having a yacht party on August 10th, right? Here's a little website here. August 10th, man. 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Here's the website. I've got it pinned at the top for all of you guys. Join the yacht party. We're going to have it's a yacht, 130 plus feet long. We're going to have 350 people that can be that are going to be seated on it. Open bar, free food, bunch of girls. It's going to be a good ass time. I'm going to see if I can get Vitaly and Sneeko on there if they're in town. I think Vitaly might be in town. It might be a good time. So it's going to be lit, guys. Come hang out with us. Tickets are only $9.98. Yeah, bro, it's going to be litty, man. We're able to go ahead and get a bigger yacht for you guys so we can bring the price down. So it's going to be lit. All right. Okay, guys. Let me just look at the chat here. Okay. I want world peace so Myron can stay out of X Spaces and stream Overwatch again. Arab shit talking exclusively. Yeah, I know. Angie's fine, guys. Her dog was sick yesterday. She had to go to the emergency room with her. That's why she's not here today. So, but she's good. She's fine. Yeah, but let's see what happens, man. I'm really excited to see what happens with the testimony next week if they bring these Secret Service agents in that were actually on the ground. But on that, guys, tomorrow, guys, we're going to have Money Monday. We're going to be talking about precious metals. We're going to drop an episode for you guys. It's going to be a good time. That's going to come out tomorrow. And then we're going to have Fresh and Fit News with Ahmed Sulaiman, huge following on Twitter. And then we're going to have on Wednesday, obviously the typical Womanizer Wednesday. Or I don't know, maybe we might have popped the balloon. I don't know. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a real good time. And then Yacht Party is going to be on Saturday, the 10th. And I'll probably do some streams of Vitaly this week as well. It's going to be a good time. And Yeah, I don't know, man. Jake Shields, I think his schedule is booked, guys. I'm trying to get him in, but I think he's going to leave on Tuesday, so I might not be able to get him in. I think he's going to do something with Elijah Schaefer. Shout out to Elijah. What do you mean I missed your chat, bro? I didn't miss your chat. What is your chat? Type your chat in here right now, because I don't think I missed your chat. Yeah, I would still talk to Vivek. Somebody asked that, but I think he's too scared to come on the podcast. He canceled because we were too controversial, bro. Guys, this is kind of what comes with the territory when you're controversial like we are, bro. Especially about certain topics, if you know what I mean, okay? They're not going to want to talk to you, bro. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this Instagram issue on Monday. So I might do a space on Twitter after this. Asking about Mustard gang affiliated. Bro, I'm just trolling on Twitter, whatever. If he's mad about that, then I don't even know who Mustard is, to be honest with you guys. Crypto and stock market. Maybe I'll do that as well tomorrow. And Fresh won't be around tomorrow, actually. He's in Barbados right now, guys. So it's probably going to just be me and Sulaiman tomorrow for the news. So it'll be a good conversation. Prisoner swap? Prisoner swap what? Are you guys talking prisoner swap in Israel and Palestine? Is that what you guys are talking about? Is that what you guys are talking about right now? When you guys are mentioning the prisoner swap? Ethereum is tanking right now, huh? I'm still up though, guys, because I bought Ethereum when it was $1,800, so it don't matter for me. I bought a majority of my Ethereum at $1,800, so I'm good, man. I bought early. I took action years ago, guys. So I'm fine. You guys are like, yo, we probably down. Nah, bro, I brought Ethereum. I didn't fucking wait, man. I bought a majority of my Ethereum at $1,800, guys. So I am fine. I am absolutely fine because I take action, baby. So I'm still up. Oh, Russia, United States? What are you guys talking about? Prisoner exchange, Russia, United States. Let me Google this.
You've had two.
I'm not aware of what you guys are talking about. Prisoner exchange, Russia, USA. Is that what you guys are talking about? 4 Americans, 16 Russians? Let's see here. On August 1st, 2024, the largest prisoner exchange since the end of the Cold War occurred involving the release of 26 individuals. Russia and Belarus released 16 detainees, while the United States, Germany, Poland, Slovenia. Okay, let's see this. The 3 released American citizens together with government officials and staff on their return to the United States. Okay, let's see here. Among those released were Evan Gershovic, a reporter at Wall Street Journal, and Paul Whelan, a former U.S. Marine. Oh, okay. I know this guy. Yeah. I remember he got in for espionage, and we actually were supposed to bring him back, but we brought Brittany Griner back instead, which is ridiculous. Okay, so under the terms of the agreement, the 8 Russian nationals and 2 minors were transferred to Russia, while 13 Russian held prisoners were released from Germany and the United States. All right, who did we release then? Foreign policy. All right, we'll cover this on the news tomorrow then. I'll do a little bit more research on this, guys. Okay. All right, yeah. We'll look at this. We'll definitely look at this. And then it goes into individuals released, etc. All right. Cool. I'll take a look at that. We'll cover this on the news tomorrow, too, since you guys are requesting it. We got y'all, ninjas. I give the people what they want. I was not aware of this. Thank you for making me aware of it, chat. Yeah, I'll put this in a news cycle for tomorrow. And if I forget or some shit like that, remind me while I'm there with Sulaiman. If you guys are going to be watching FNF News tomorrow, if I forget, just remind me, hey, told us that you cover this. So I got y'all. All right, cool. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. I'm going to end it there. Love you, ninjas. We'll be back tomorrow for Fresh and Fit News. I'm going to have an episode on precious metals for you guys tomorrow as well. It's going to be a good time. Make sure to go ahead and get your tickets, guys, for the yacht party on August 10th. It's going to be a good time. 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Tickets are only $1,000. Very cheap, open bar, free food. Bunch of girls, hundreds of girls will probably be there. It's going to be a good time. And I hope to see you guys there. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.
I'm a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, okay, guys? HSI.
This is what Fed Reacts covers.
Defender Jeffrey Williams and Associate YSL did commit the felony. So here's what 6ix9ine actually got. This attack shifted the whole U.S. government. This guy got arrested for espionage, okay? Trading secrets with the Russians. John Wayne Gacy, a.k.a. the Killer Clown, okay? One of the most prolific